All right, welcome everybody back to our latest session of Candlekeep Mysteries. Quick house note, we've decided to make, at least for a trial basis, we're going to try out two different rules. The first one, we're pretty sure we're going to stick with this, and that is anytime a caster casts a spell that requires a saving throw, they're going to roll a 1d20 to determine whether or not it is a normal spell or if perhaps there's a fumble or crit involved. Previously, we did this by the opponent's saving throw. If it nat 20, then it would be considered a fumble, but because we're using this new smart AoE API, we want to make sure that that's all going to work properly. We're going to handle it this way. So again, anytime a spellcaster casts a spell that requires a saving throw of one or more targets, the caster will roll a d20 along with that spell, and if they roll a 1, that will count as a fumble for them. If they roll a 20, that will count as a crit. If they crit, then they can target any of the affected targets by the spell as the individual that is crit. So it doesn't apply to all. If it's a single target spell, obviously that is the selected target. And if it is an AoE that affects multiple targets, then the caster selects one of those to be targeted. So we're going to try that out today and see how that goes. Second quick change. We're moving to a defensive role system for this session. We'll see if we like it, and if we want to continue, we will adopt this permanently. For anybody that's familiar with this rule back from, I believe it was from the 3.5 edition rules, instead of the DM rolling attack roll dice for the enemies, the PCs will all be rolling defensive rolls to avoid attacks from the enemies. And this is going to put more control, more dice in the hands of the player characters and take them out of my hands. And I think the players will probably be happy with that because I sometimes go on these hot streaks and roll really well. So we'll see how this goes on the flip side. So we're going to try that out, and yeah, we'll play it by ear. All right, so jumping into our recap from last session. So we started off last session with the group having already made it back to Baldur's Gate, and they were crossing the causeway out to the Sea Tower of Baldurin in order to speak with Alder Ravengard to secure permission to visit the location, the dungeons, where one of their former allies, Alan, the proprietor of the Elfsong Tavern, was being held in connection with a crime that they were pretty sure he had nothing to do with. While crossing this, there was a couple of porters traveling across the causeway as well, from the east to the west, while the party was coming from the west to the east. They had sort of just passed when something that these porters were carrying got away from them. They dropped it, it smashed onto the ground and released this strange chemical mist / ooze type material, and quickly the group found themselves in combat with 4 different, you might even call these meta elemental type creatures. So not a set element. Many of them were composed of a variety of elements, or maybe more exotic elements that I'm not really familiar with. One of these was actually a greenish snake that was seemingly composed of venom as opposed to, say, water. One of them was very similar to a water elemental, but it had fiery hands, more like a boiling elemental, you might think of it as. One of them was an ice elemental, so think of this more as like frozen water type creature. And then last was more of this floating air, kind of looked like a giant, hard to know exactly what it was, as these were all exotic creatures. The party was able to defeat these guys without too much difficulty. Of particular note was the giant that was floating over air. He was creating this horrendous air around him, very like high-speed winds that made any kind of ranged weapons very difficult. And while nobody attempted to do it, it would have played real big havoc on anybody flying at the time. So luckily everybody in the group stayed on their feet at that point and was able to dispatch these opponents. After that was complete, they made their way over and spoke to these porters, or at least one of them, who they found down in the water below, and rescued him. The other one, there was no sign of him. They questioned this porter for a while, asking, what was he doing there, trying to get some more information. After all of this interrogation, it seemed that this porter was really unlikely to be involved in some big evil scheme, and more or less was just paid to transport this object, and was trying to take it over to Sorceress Sundry's in Baldur's Gate and drop it off there. And why exactly or who ordered it, he wasn't quite sure. The group thought this information was kind of handy, but decided to allow him to go, giving him a decent amount of money, which I believe it was Ranvan, offered him quite a bit of coin after this gentleman indicated that he was taking this job in order to make sure that his girlfriend was treated really well, buy her a nice gift perhaps. So this extra money that Ranvon handed over to him was quite appreciated. After that porter went on his way, the group made their way over to the Sea Tower of Balduran, requested a meeting with Alder Ravengard, who they also had previously worked with, and eventually he did make his way out. The group explained to Alder Ravengard that, Alan likely was not involved in this. They would like an opportunity to see him and try to understand what exactly was happening. Alder Ravengard gave them the authority to essentially act on his behalf, to head over there and work with the you might call it the dungeon master there, who is in charge of all the prisoners, and give him sort of a rolled up scroll in order to give them access to this prisoner, as well as any other help or assistance they might need in investigating the attacks that were occurred on the High House of Wonder. With this permission granted, they then quickly made their way over to the prison itself, found that the warden there, or dungeon master, was not particularly friendly. He had this very affronted reaction, essentially stating that, why was... Almost you could get the impression of he was really angry that people went over his head and were sort of forcing him to do this, and instead of allowing him to make the decision. And he was very uncooperative, and he did lead the group to see the prisoner, but otherwise tried to do no favors for them whatsoever. They asked him to step away while they spoke to Alan. He refused. They asked him, if he would provide certain types of information. He pretty much only would do exactly what he was commanded to do, and was not willing to be persuaded or intimidated otherwise. The group did manage to speak with Alan and get some information there, in particular with Dell using his ability to communicate mentally, so this was not heard by the warden, and got some additional information that way. And this sort of solidified in the group's mind that Alan likely was not involved in this. He sort of just got caught up in all of this activity, and he wasn't really responsible for what was happening. The group then asked the warden if they could speak to another individual who Alan let them know was kind of involved as well, and the warden did take them around to the other side of the prison, where they were introduced to this half-orc who also seemingly was not very helpful. This half-orc was pretty much making fun of the group wherever he could, and did not seem to want to admit to pretty much anything. He may have taken a little bit more of a liking of Lexi, being that she was a half-orc like him, and he seemed to be more impressed with strength than anything else, which is pretty common among half-orcs. But still, even with the bribing and the different kind of cajoling the group was trying to do to this half-orc, he seemingly was not to be persuaded. And the group then decided to make their way out. During this whole period of time, Dal used his Detect Thoughts ability and tried to read the thoughts of the warden Ulvin, and he picked up a bunch of zeros and ones, which was peculiar. He did give this information to the group. And then Leopold, based on his knowledge of artifice, being familiar with machines and constructs of different sorts, was familiar with a type of communication that certain constructs have that is all coded in binary, or zeros and ones. This seemingly indicated to Leopold that the warden himself must be a construct and just presenting as a human. He lodged this allegation towards the warden, and the warden, of course, was not really having this. He didn't flat out say, no, I'm not a construct. He just seemingly seemed to be incredibly offended and thought the entire concept was just ridiculous, and did not want to entertain any kind of thoughts about anything that the group was really bringing to him. So eventually the group decided to conjure forth Alder using a scroll of sending a communication quickly to Alder Ravengard, letting them know of their concerns. Alder responded saying that he would come over, because this was obviously huge news if one of the captains or the wardens here was actually a construct. So he did indeed tell them to wait outside for them. The group left the dungeons, and eventually Alder showed up with 3 of his men, all dressed in the Flaming Fist regalia. The group then re-entered after Older explained to the group that yes, he would assist them, but explain, exactly what are we trying to do here. We have to do this by the book. And Leopold was able to create this test, essentially, that he would use a magnet in order to determine if there was metal underneath the flesh of this warden, and confirmed that he was actually a construct. The warden, again, once he saw the group reappear with Older, was kind of surprised, but also trying to tell Older that why was he trusting this group? They clearly were up to no good. They didn't have any business being here. And Older sort of calmed him down and just said, yeah, I know this is kind of a strange request. Let us just do this so I can, ease my concerns and we can move on. Leopold applied this test, and it turned out that this gentleman was not magnetic in any way. This did not convince Leopold, though, thinking that zeros and ones that were overheard was much more concrete than this test, that perhaps something else was going on here. Maybe there was some way that this guy was masking his presence. I believe it was Brandel also cast dispel magic spell at him, cast I believe another spell as well. The whole time Older was trying to calm the group down, and eventually was able to, after a period of time, sort of strong arm them outside and then let them know how disappointed he was, because he said, we have to do this by the book. You guys just really embarrassed me in there in front of this warden. If you had brought me, hey, we need to do this, and this, and that will confirm it, then that would have been fine. He could have sort of presented it that way. But as it was presented as we're just going to do this one test, and then that failed, and then the group went beyond that, this seemed to really anger Older, and he indicated that the group had lost his trust after sort of going rogue on these actions. He said, if the group had something solid that could prove what their thoughts were here, then he would, certainly take a look at it, but they have to be on much more solid ground than their initial suspicions. They have to be something there that they can actually go by. So he then left. The group decided to make their way back to the High House of Wonders, and there was able to secure a meeting with the High Artificer. And the High Artificer was able to shed some light that certain type of constructs are able to communicate through you almost think of it like a telepathic field, and that information passes back and forth through them and is coded in binary. And what likely occurred here was when Dell was detecting thoughts, because of this zone of communication, this aura that connects all of these different constructs, he likely picked up some of those thoughts while trying to read the thoughts of the warden. And the High Artificer indicated that perhaps the warden was aiding these constructs and was completely unaware of the fact that they were constructs. So with this information in hand, the groups exited the High Artificer's office and looked to one another to figure out what to do exactly next. How are they going to approach this problem? So guys, is there anything I missed in the recap? That's a pretty long one. Is there anything I missed there that anybody would like to add? All right, sounds like not. So we've got inspiration for Brandel and Lexi, thanks to another entry in Brandel's journal. And for that, we will move the group over to the map of Baldur's Gate. All right, group, so we find ourselves back in the High House of Wonders, and right sort of in that main, High House of Wonders. So we find ourselves back in that sort of main area that you could think of this almost like a, I guess almost like a reception area, I suppose is the proper term, as you guys find yourself here looking at one another.
What's our time of day, Adam?
Yeah, good question. Based on what you guys have done so far today, I'm going to say it's early afternoon, so you're looking at about 2 p.m.
And we're still with the High Artificer.
You have exited the High Artificer's office after receiving this information and decided to talk amongst each other about coming up with a plan of how to make your way back into the sewer keep and what to do if you can.
I'll just say I was not wrong. I just wasn't right about the right things. That fucked things up. So we have a couple options. We can try and sneak in there, figure out how to disable those devices. It's probably on high alert, I imagine, at this point. So that's going to be difficult. The other option is we go back and beg Oldar to give us one more chance with some more evidence now that we've talked to the Harang officers here. I suppose we skipped that step last week, but I thought we were under some more time pressure than allowed us to hunt around some more. What do y'all think?
Or we could get ourselves arrested and then break out.
That might still happen before we're done today, so I think we should consider that as a good alternative.
I wonder if the higher officer has any intel on why it's called Sewer Keep. Maybe there's alternate entrances there he may know about. He may have some resistances or immunities that these constructs might have that we should know about, and also what specifically does it look like? I mean, I know we know that little circle thing that we saw, but we just unplug stuff or destroy it, or that those kind of questions is what I have.
Good points. I'm sure probably knows several of those things. I guess the other thing too, is very evident. Oldar is by the book, I suppose. So if we do sneak in there, I have a feeling even if we do well, it's not going to go well for us. Which I don't really like being talked down to, so I don't care one way or the other. But I'm just letting you all know that might have more consequences for us afterwards concerning Oldar and Baldur's Gate in general.
At this point, you see Dell just jump out of the cube.
Oh, yes.
And-
How could we forget? Dell was still in the cube. So as Dell exits, and I believe...
Gertrude?
Yes. Yep. So Gertrude would head back into the cube, and it would be Dell has returned with Philarain here by your side.
Oh, okay. That started to get a little weird with Cedric. Okay. Oh, okay.
Welcome back.
So, yes, we're on that warden anymore, right?
Oh, let me fill you in.
Sorry, I had to go into the box because if I was around that guy for one more second, I was gonna smite him to hell.
That's a valid point.
Okay. And Ravenguard said not to, physically hurt anyone, so I didn't want to get all of you in trouble.
Don't worry, we did it fine. A good enough job on our own.
Yeah, we got ourselves in trouble without you.
Well, I'm sorry I missed it.
Well, now you're back, so you can catch the second half. So we're about to get in more trouble. We're just deciding how.
Sounds good.
And Leo will quickly explain all of everything we've already talked about.
Just tell me who you want to kill.
Okay, we'll do that. But first, I guess, do we want to walk back in and see if we can talk to the high artifact? Wow.
Artificer?
Yes.
Yes, I have some questions I'd like to ask, and I'm sure you guys do too.
Why don't we just pop back in and see if we can run him down, Alex?
Yeah, maybe he can help us get arrested.
Well, if I vote against that, anyway, that might be an option. There's no bad ideas. Write it down. So we'd like
Go
to
back in.
Yeah, we'll see about the artificer.
All right, yeah, so you head back up to the reception area here. You notice the receptionist sitting behind. She kind of looks up as she sees you approaching. You also notice Hallex out of the corner of your eye kind of looks towards you guys, not in any kind of angry way, but more or less out of curiosity. And you see the receptionist looks up and says, "Oh, back already. What can I do for you?"
Mind if we speak with your boss again? We just had a few quick questions.
Oh, yes, let me see if he's still available. I presume so. It's just been a few moments. One moment. And you notice she gets out of this chair and kind of starts heading back the same way that you guys previously just came from. You notice Hallex now kind of strides over and puts one of his arms on the counter here and looks towards you and he says, oh, so you guys are still involved in trying to assist us here. Have you made any progress?
I just came up with a few more questions that were had for you. Sorry. Sometimes it's like we go away and then it's like there's been a week of time and we've had some new development to think about. I don't suppose you know of any weaknesses that the constructs, these particular constructs would have. I know, and I'll pat Silver. I know my friend here, she's practically immune to certain kinds of poison and charming magic typically. I don't suppose you know of anything that might be a weakness on their part.
And just for a point of clarification, this is Hallex who has strode over here. He was watching you from the corner. This is not the High Artificer. Do you still ask the same line of questioning here, Leopold?
Yeah, because I'm thinking the High Artificer was. Well, I don't know. Do we want to talk to the High Artificer?
I think
or
we wait.
this guy?
I think we wait. Unless you have any suspicions.
No. I'll hold that. I'll say, actually, can we talk to the High Artificer just real quick?
And you notice he looks towards you and looks towards the receptionist and says, I presume that's who you asked to speak to. Yes, I assume so. To be honest, I was just curious myself. This whole endeavor has been so strange. These people using this teleportation circle, just appearing here, destroying an invention. It's so odd. I find myself very curious, and I hope that if there's any information that you've learned, you'd be willing to share it.
We want to see if we can get arrested.
Get arrested? Why? What? Well, whatever do you mean?
That's
We
our
gotta get
backup.
in that sewer.
Get into the sewer. Oh, you're referring to the sewer keep, I presume?
Yeah, that one.
And you want to be arrested. Well, I'm sure we could accomplish that. We'd have to just work with the city guard. But can I ask, what are you hoping to accomplish?
Well, then we got to break out and deal with the construct thingies.
I think it's our backup plan if none of our other things come to fruition.
Do you have any experience with constructs?
Of course, I'm an artificer myself to some degree. Not quite as talented as the High Artificer, of course, but yes, I've been a student here for quite some time. What type of constructs in particular?
I don't know if we're 100% certain.
Oh, well, that will make it quite challenging then, for constructs vary quite significantly. I mean, I suppose the basics are, I don't know of any constructs that actually need to eat, sleep, or drink, so that's pretty basic information for most constructs. But then beyond that, there's quite a bit of variety. There's things even called living constructs, which are quite strange. There's some that are a little more than automatons. There's some that actually have sentience. So yeah, I guess I can't really give you too much more information without knowing specifics.
You should get arrested with us.
You notice
Tell
he
us
chuckles.
Tell us about the sentient ones.
Sentient construct. Well, yes, I suppose they're much like regular people in that regard. They have their own goals and desires, and they actually think and plan, and you would not know they were constructs any other way. They come in many different shapes and forms. Quite strange altogether. Yeah, it's like I say, it's hard to put a pin in them. It's sort of like if you were to say, how do you describe humans? There's just so much variety.
I'm wondering. I don't know. do we want to speak with the High Artificer at all if he had a better idea of what perhaps we might be dealing with specifically? He seemed to know at least what the objects were that were inside of the keep. So that might maybe give him a better clue on what exactly we have to deal with here.
Yes, well, he is, of course, very knowledgeable in these things. Oh, here returns the receptionist. You know, she pops back around and looks towards you and she says, yes, he said he can see you. Yes, head back the same way. And you notice Alex kind of inclines his head and he says, well, as I said, I hope you'll share anything you learn. I'm quite curious.
We'll compare notes after it's all over, as long as we're still alive.
Best of luck.
Leo, in your head, you hear Del go, have we met that gentleman before? He seemed a little too curious.
We talked with him when I'm replying in my head. We talked with him when we came in here initially. I don't. At the time, I don't believe we told him very much, so I can understand his curiosity, especially after I kind of let him know what happened specifically that kind of started all of it. So
Okay.
I think he's just curious. Artificers are curious generally.
And he seems to have knowledge about constructs.
The more so the High Artificer himself, but obviously Alex is knowledgeable.
How far up the chain is he? Do you know?
I don't. I feel like he was second in command ish, if that even is a thing in the Artificer Guild.
So he would have a lot to gain.
I mean, well, that's the thing. I suppose if he's ruining the High Artificer's invention by an incredibly obtuse plot like what we're going through right now, then I'm imagining he could bring some sort of influence or more clout by, I don't know, making something else. I suppose the answer is I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure what their politics situation is internally. So, but it's very possible that they might be at each other's throats and not really showing that outwardly.
Perhaps you should talk to the High Artificer about this gentleman.
I'll mention that.
Thank you.
Are we walking down the hallway or something, Adam?
Yes, you walk your way down this hallway, open the same door you saw before, and you see that tall, high-backed chair where the High Artificer was sitting when you first met him. He's actually standing next to this long side table, and you can see all these different gadgets and gizmos and things here. You see he turns and looks towards you, and his eyes are a little bit wide, and you hear his voice is quite a bit different suddenly, as it sounds much deeper. Welcome back. Sorry, I was just trying out some new inventions here. Communication device. I don't think it's quite worked out its kinks yet, but the receptionist said you needed to speak to me again.
His voice sounds like pitch shift different, or
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, certainly deeper than when you first spoke with him.
oh, your device sounds like it's kind of attenuated your voice a little.
Yes, this device is intended to allow individuals to speak to others underwater, believe it or not, and it seems as though this is the best frequency for transmission across water waves. But as you can see, it has had a bit of a blowback, and, well, I'm sure it will wear off in a short period of time, but until then, what was it that I could do for you?
I think we just kind of thought up a few quick questions for you concerning the devices that we've talked about and kind of that situation. Does that give you any clue or indicator of what sort of constructs in general we might be dealing with?
Unfortunately, there's too many varieties to really nail it down in particular. I suppose it could be many different types, but did you get a good look at the central repository section the central command center that we previously spoke about?
Um, did we get a good look, or was that part
Well,
of our intention was to go and get a good look
I
at it?
believe it
well,
was, yeah.
yeah, we saw the circle on the ground that we suspect is it, but we haven't gone there back yet.
And you notice he nods and says, well, just based on very basic details, it must be a type of construct that is able to change its form. Usually, this requires a small amount of time. Some can do it very quickly. You might even think of it as a transformer, perhaps. Very strange indeed, beings, but how exactly they operate or what exact type it is, as I said, there's far too much of a variety here to be able to tell you exactly what type it could be. You, I assume, are looking for some type of pointers as far as defeating these individuals?
Or
Uh,
unplugging them, or
right.
disabling them.
Well, I can only give you the basics. Generally, when it comes to constructs, things like charming, trying to tire them out, scaring them, preventing them from moving, those types of things, poison, those things generally all will fail to work.
Right.
And are they affected by, powers of the mind? I'm sure they don't have one, right?
You would be surprised. Some of them are not because of the way that they are designed. Others are particularly susceptible to that type of intrusion.
Interesting. And now that we're on the topic of these guys, I mean, would it be best if we just found a way to disable? I mean, if we find a central control room, we just throw a fireball at it, you think, and it should take care of the control room?
Again, too many variables to know for sure. The control center, it is either a device that works in some type of a assisting fashion to the constructs themselves, or it could actually be a construct itself. In which case, you could think of that as the central hub of communications, and if you are able to disable it, it may have a particularly deleterious effect on other constructs nearby.
Could a system like that run sentient constructs?
I suppose so, but generally speaking, if you have a central command center, the rest of the constructs would have very little sort of intelligence or individuality.
Well, and also, I didn't quite catch your name. I'm sorry. Brendel Crane of Candlekeep.
You didn't catch my name when we spoke just moments ago, and I introduced myself as the High Artificer.
Well, I've been calling you that since we've met. I didn't realize that was actually your name. My apologies.
Well, of course not. That is my title as High Artificer.
Did I miss his name? It must have been writing.
You probably did. That was my way of stalling to look it up really quick. Yes, actually. So, this guy is. I think I did give his name, but this guy is a little bit different. So let me, because this isn't in the typical resource. So feel free to ask any other questions while I look this up real quick.
I don't suppose you know any uh, alternative entrances into the sewer keep.
Well, the sewer keep was actually a marvel of technology. There are different sewers themselves that could get you nearby, but not into the dungeons themselves.
And I have a quite humbling scenario I'd like to play out with you. As we went there to try to disrupt this before talking to you, and in our mistake, we seem to have offended Ravengard. He's a good friend of ours. We've known each other for a while, and well, You see, we were half right, and now I feel like we've stepped in it quite a bit, and we don't have an easy way back inside. I don't know. Do you have any influence with Raven Guard to maybe give us another chance?
Alder Ravengard tends to be a very by the book kind of gentleman. If you are able to prove to him that you are worthwhile, then likely he would be willing to assist you once again. Is this task something that he has asked you to complete?
He actually said maybe get more information and convince me, kind of thing. Is that right, Leopold? Was it around that vein?
I believe that's what he said. I believe that is what he said, Salamand. I
And
don't
you notice
suppose
he
you.
not. So is it safe to assume you guys have kind of filled him in on most of the general details of how this all occurred?
Yes,
Yes.
I think so.
Okay, so you'll notice he nods and he's kind of like pokes at the table as he's. You almost get the impression of like a bad habit where he's just like kind of tapping out of anxiety, perhaps, or just impatience. But once you kind of fill him in on some of these details, you see he looks and goes, "Oh, well, that's pretty obvious. I mean, it sounds like you guys were working under his authority, and he trusted you to work within the confines of that authority, and you went beyond those confines. So." As long as you do everything by the book, I assume you'll be able to mend that relationship without too much difficulty.
Yeah, we suck. We lost his trust and we need to earn it back. Is there a spell that you could put on one of us that would make us appear to be a construct?
That's quite interesting. I don't know. I mean, perhaps an illusion, maybe of some kind.
Also, do you trust that guy?
Who's that
Alex?
guy?
Alex?
Oh, Hallex, yes. Good man. Yes, he is very curious, but he has the appropriate mindset for becoming a great high artificer one day.
He seemed to know a lot about constructs.
Do you trust him?
I suppose that I do, yes.
All right. I suppose at this point, Leo looks at Ranvan and he says, by the book, we should probably go to Uldar and see if this is enough for him. Unless anyone can think of anything else that we need to follow up on.
I think there might be a solution that could get us back in the good books of the guard back at the jail there and Uldar at the same time.
If it involves apologizing, I'm not in.
Minimal apologizing, if any. What we found, if we took it to the guard and let him claim the credit for it, then that could get us back in his good book and get him back in Uldar's good book. We can tell Uldar we figured it out, because obviously that man didn't. He'd probably believe us there, but their relationship would be repaired, and thus our relationship with Uldar.
It was rather unresponsive when we were going in there initially. Do you think will it be able to convince him at all this time?
Do we even need to go in? Can't we just call him to the door and tell him what we know? And say, go check it out, let us know what you see?
Oh, well, I mean, we can show up there and then he just arrests us or something. Which goes into Lexi's part of the plan.
I don't think he can arrest us for just being outside.
Yeah, we have no warrant against us that I know of.
He may just decide to do it. You know, sometimes people don't do things by the book. But I'm game.
Can't one of you go invisible and I'll distract him and you sneak in?
Well, that's just one of us. I mean, I could waste a lot of energy and get a lot of us invisible, but once again, that's not by the book.
And that doesn't get us back in Uldar's good book.
Yeah, I think I think we should. It's very interesting, Grandpa, and I do like the little planting of seeds, and everyone's a win-win-win situation. Um,
Um, Perhaps we go to Ravengard and inform him that there's some sort of control device in the sewer keep for these constructs. And maybe we get a tour of the sewer keep.
well, it's a good point. I'm assuming that the control room access door we saw goes down, right? Um, I think we could, after talking with Thalamon, that we could go talk to Ravengard now and just say, hey, we were half right. There is something going on, and Thalamund has shared this information with us and encourages us to disable the construct device that's in there. We did detect something, and it seems to be below the level that we were at. That might not be just. That's a really quite simple thing to try.
But
And then go ahead, Lexi.
but you guys are assuming that the construct guy is gonna the dungeon master is gonna be honest or not try to cover this up. What if he's in on it? Then he'll just tell Oldar that there's nothing to worry about, and we'll look like idiots again. We're already in the bad books.
If it comes to that, we can bust in because we'll know he's a bad guy. But until then, we can give him a chance to do the right thing. I'm sure he'd love to look better in Uldar's books.
So then
Right.
we bust in front of Ravengard. Like Ravengard's gonna arrest us right then and there if we try to bust in.
Well, we're not going.
We use his pride against him.
Well, I think here's something obvious too that I was thinking. Sorry, Thalamund, as we brainstorm here. I hope we're not taking too much of your time. I appreciate your patience. But
And as you say that, you notice he looks towards you and says, in fact, I am quite busy. And if you speak with Alder Ravengard, make sure that this is simply a theory. This is what I believe based on the best of my information. But I would prefer it if you didn't use my name and say, Thalamon said this, because if you should interpret or make any missteps, I wouldn't want this to reflect poorly back onto the High House of Wonders.
oh yes, of course. So what I'm thinking, guys, it's a pretty obvious circle on the ground that was not hidden in any way, right? And so this Ulvin, even though we think he's unwillingly participant, I mean, the thing is there, right? It's this thing, you could see it. It wasn't secret.
And just to clarify, because what you're referring to here, Brandel, is the image that was shared so that you guys could see what it was that you didn't really pick up before. It's not simply a circle on the ground. This is actually what you might think of as like a water tank, right? So it's pretty circular. It's fairly large. If you imagine like a water tower at a miniature version of that.
Oh, so you was it disguised as a water access for water then?
I won't use the word disguise. That's your word. I'll just say that it looked to you when you got a glance at it. 'Cause remember, you guys didn't really pay too much attention to it, and you also had Ulvin between you and it, as he was like wanting to stay there and not give you privacy to interrogate Alan. So what you would have spotted just from your recollection was some type of circular water containers is the best that you probably would make out. Fairly large, right? It did take up a 10 by 10 square.
Perhaps we go back when Olvin has left. He can't be there all day, every day, correct?
Well, they might. I don't know. Some of them might actually. I imagine not.
Hey, Leopold, do do you think I could? Uh, you're pretty in tune with arcane abilities. Do you think it's against the realm of my experience to just put a little clairvoyance eye in the middle of that water tower that we think and see if it's actually filled with water? It says that range is 1 mile. It's a point that I can imagine, and it just stays there for 10 minutes.
Yeah, do your magic thing, Brandel.
I think, if anything, regardless of what it's disguised as or looks like, that 10 minutes might give you some insight on what it's actually doing in there if it does anything, unless it's just silently communicating all the time.
Um, do you think you would be able to get past the wards present? I got to imagine that there's wards in the sewers.
Well, it didn't dispel my dispel magic when I cast it on Olvin, so something worked in there.
Okay.
It's, I think, maybe worth a try. Here, how about this? Uh, I'm game for trying our Olvan tactic Ranvan. And before we do that, however, why don't we do a little recon with Brandel here and see if we can gain any more insights with his spell on the inside. And then we also have a little more knowledge, and we can determine if it's even worth going to Olven in the first place. So I would suggest, depending on how much magical juice you have, Brandel, I don't want to take all of it up, but we do once in the room with the transformer device, construct, whatever, and watch that for a while. And then, shit, where was Olvin when we first came in? Did he have a room that we.
Ooh, I have an idea. We can use the resources that we already have in there. Alan's already in there, right? So why don't we get one of Alan's friends or somebody that, who knows, somebody that's trusted over there, if there's anybody that we know. Maybe they can visit him. They can sneak him the box, and one of us gets in the box with Gertrude and that other wimpy dude. And then, like, Alan goes in the box, one of us comes out, opens the gate, and then lets everybody in.
That's very clever, but what about all the guards we saw as we were walking around?
You have to go and be invisible.
Once again, sadly, Lexi, I feel you're being very creative, but it would get us in worse graces with Olvengard. I think we should now just choose the most honest way to get in.
Fine. But if that doesn't work, I think we should use the box.
That's a good idea.
We could
might
put
yet
two
get
of
there.
We could put two of us in the box, but then Alan would have to know what to do.
So hey, Adam, on the clairvoyance spell, apart from any wards or something I don't know about, just as far as it reads, its distance is 1 mile. I can put it into an obvious location that's unfamiliar to me, such as behind a door, around a corner, or a grove of trees. Such a location that I could put it would be inside the water cistern that we suspect is false.
So I would say you could certainly put it in the room from this distance. When it says an obvious location is unfamiliar to you, I take that more to mean something nearby you, right? Where, for example, if you were in a room and you're like, I want to pop this right on the other side of the door, because otherwise, if it didn't work that way, you could literally put it anywhere in the city of Baldur's Gate, right? So I think it's limited to a point and range you're familiar, so you could certainly pick that room, and then obvious location that is unfamiliar to you. You could say, again, behind a door you were close by, or above the floor you're on, or something like that, but not inside the object over in this other area that you're not familiar with.
Okay. Well, I could very easily guide my arcane eye through the halls back into that room with a cistern, and I could squeeze it up the water spout, or assuming there's a hole, and from there I might get lost, but that could work as well.
As long as we don't get caught, I don't really have a problem with this, because we are trying to do the greater thing here.
Not that I'm predicting that this construct will have the ability to see your orb, but some things can see those. So just, I guess, bear that in mind. But I don't think there's any way for them to connect it back to us if you do that. So I say go for it. Worst case, they just manage to detect that they are being detected. But
They won't know by who, and it'd be worth the risk if we were able to get more information and go to Raven Guard and go the right route here, the honest route.
I think, why don't you just clairvoyance yourself into that room and let's just see what happens for the next 10 minutes, if anything. And then if nothing, we'll just go to Oldar or Olvin or however we want to handle that for the next part and go from there.
Okay, seems to be about a half mile away. Probably shouldn't do it in Thalamon's office, though.
We'll take your leave, Dalmond. Hopefully we'll have all this resolved the next time we come back.
I wish you good luck.
Good luck with your communication device.
And you notice he nods and turns back to all these little gadgets and things on the counter.
Glancing at them as Leo walks out of the room, can he tell if there's anything there that looks interesting or might be useful for us right now?
Give me a perception check. Not particularly, no.
Okay.
So I was gonna look for scrying orb in there, something that would be used for scrying, something that I bought, or a clairvoyance. Let's see, this would be a focus worth 100 gold pieces. Any material I think could be used for divination magic for scrying on me.
Wait, so you're asking if you spotted anything like this in Thalamon's office as you're making your way out?
Yes, please.
I would say no. Being that, this, you're literally right on the way out the door, no, you wouldn't spot anything like this.
Yeah, it's probably, I imagine it cluttered, but okay, cool.
All right, yeah, so you guys are escorted out, or make your way out after he sort of dismisses you. Head back out towards the reception area. You notice Halleck still sort of leaning against the side wall and looking at you with one of those trying to look not interested but as clearly interested poses.
Leo will give him the thumbs up nod, kind of indicating we'll be back to talk, maybe, if we're not dead.
And you're not
if you
sure,
can convey it.
I was going to say, you're not sure how much of that he actually interpreted, but he gives you a nod in response to your nod.
Want to just post up outside, Brendel?
Yes. Let's see what kind of condition I'm in. I think I don't think I get knocked out. So yeah, I should be able to sit comfortably. Just keep an eye on me. Should be a nice bench around here somewhere. Oh, actually, I should be more private because I'm actually going to be using magical words and waving my hands around, and it's kind of like, we don't want to draw attention to ourselves. Being the experienced gamer that I am on Roll20. The Roll20, the best VT tabletop gaming platform on the internet.
Can you believe we're not even sponsored?
Okay.
But for how much longer? Is there like a little inconspicuous spot that we can go hang out?
Not here in the High Hall or High House of Wonders. This is a lot of people around here, so there's quite a bit of activity. You don't think you would have much in the way of privacy in this area, unless you had access to some kind of back room or something like that. You could always, book yourself into an inn, perhaps the Elf Song Tavern, take a room there if you wanted something along those lines.
You could just rent a room for the hour. People do that.
There's also, of course, the Helm and Cloak, which is much closer here, which is another inn you guys have been to before.
If we go back to the Elf Song, we could see how it's faring without Alan.
Closer to better, I would say. But okay, I'll change my mind. Let's go to the Elf Song Tavern. Let's change it up.
How far away is it?
Yeah, over there.
Half a mile.
Let's start walking.
Well, how many feet are in a mile?
5,280 feet, so I checked it. Yeah, we should be
Oh,
good.
good. Yeah.
All right, so you guys exit the High House of Wonders here, make your way through the Gond Gate, and start making your way through this section of Baldur's Gate. You pass by several different folks, kind of moving back and forth, chatting with one another, or just getting on with their normal commoner-type lives. Occasionally, you do notice some of the Flaming Fist guards kind of strolling on by here. Make your way again through the lower city and get through a lot of this area that is much more densely packed. Not nearly as many people here than there were the last time you guys came through. As you will recall, before, all the refugees from Elturel were just clogging the streets, and many of them have either become more permanent members or residents here, or have moved back to Elturel or moved along elsewhere. So things seem to be a bit more clear. You do make your way back to the Elf Song Tavern and find yourself outside the front of the building. Just for a point of reference, I will throw you guys on the Elf Song Tavern map. And I'll ask
Our old haunt.
Yes, indeed. I'll ask you to just drag yourself on where I paint. All right, and all of you those that are tiny, I can just resize you real quick.
Hey guys, what's going on?
I do have a potion of diminution. I'm stuck in the wall. I phased into it.
There you are.
I'm gonna squash you, Leo.
Well,
And Lexi,
I'll have to go sometime.
you may not have noticed previously, but Philarain is actually with you, that weak guy you were talking about.
No. Hi, dude.
You notice he just kind of lowers his head and tries to avoid your attention.
Go ahead, Lexi. It's our old haunt. Jump on it.
All right, you open the door to the Elf Song Tavern and find almost immediately that you are greeted by the very large half-ogre who some of you have met before. You notice she smiles as she notices you guys entering, but it's kind of this curt smile that only goes halfway among her face. You also notice this suit of armor sort of moving on its own accord that kind of just turns and looks its head towards you. You recognize this as Clank, Alan's suit of armor that is actually animated itself. Surprising, perhaps, is behind the counter you notice an older woman standing there who is currently wearing a cook's apron.
Hi, everybody. Long time no see.
You notice the half-ogre looks down towards you. Yeah, come in.
This is
Hello,
just another
friend.
connection to Frasier and Cheers for Dr. Randall Crane.
Yes, Dr. Randall Gray. Oh, how are you? Oh, you look wonderful. You've been losing weight?
Everyone in the bar goes, Brandel!
I haven't seen Clank in a while. Oh, does he look any different, Adam?
Perhaps slightly different. Maybe he's been polished up a bit here and a bit fixed up as he had taken some significant damage previously. So yeah, maybe a little bit different.
He doesn't look like obsidian black armor, does he?
He does not.
Whew. Okay. Let's see. So who do we talk to about a room? Hello.
You notice this heavier set woman wearing this apron kind of going down and down from her chest all the way down past her knees, actually. And you can see it's quite stained with various greases and liquids. And she raises a tired head and looks towards you. All right, what'll it be?
Yes, I was wondering if you have any rooms available. I think last time we stayed at the upper level had a nice little landing area where was the table there.
Yeah, we got rooms. What are you looking for? Just a couple? One, two? What do you need?
Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to need 6. We have another friend with us outside who's lingering.
Six. Oh, I don't think we have that can accommodate you unless you're willing to double up.
Well, I'm not.
Didn't we just need the one for right now?
Oh,
Or
yes,
do we
that's
want-
right.
Or,
Focus. Yes.
are we wanting to stay here for the night afterwards?
You're right. Okay, focus. How about just one, please?
Okay. Do you want just the small one or the bigger size?
I'll take the biggest one.
All right, that'll be 2 gold pieces for the night.
All right.
Leo takes out 2 gold pieces.
Oh, thank you, Leo.
She collects the coin from you and hands over a key. Says, head on up the stairs over there, and it's the second door on the south.
Excellent. And I don't know if you want to drag us up, Adam, but I'm ready to go up.
All right, yeah, as everybody wants to head straight up, I can do that.
Dell, I'll ask a question real quick. So are you the proprietor of this establishment?
And you see she looks towards you, looks down at her apron, looks back up. Oh, what would give you that idea? Don't I look like a working lady?
Well, have you seen your proprietor lately?
And you know she kind of narrows her eyes a bit as she looks towards you and... Why do you not know?
Well, these 3 are good friends of his, and they wanted to introduce me to him.
Oh! And you see she sort of leans forward and puts this meaty elbow onto the counter as she leans forward a little bit, puts her jowly chin on her hand, her fist as she's leaning there, and she looks towards you and says, well, truth be told, he left. He said he was going to find some kind of invention, and then I haven't seen him since. So, of course, you know, it's just like men that just say one thing and then they disappear for a couple days. I'm sure he'll be back.
In her head, she's gonna hear Dell go, this is me, the elf-looking fellow across the aisle. We have news of Ellen. If you wish to know, you can surely meet us upstairs.
And you know she looks very nervously in your direction and kind of does this gulp sound, and you see she just nods her head very apprehensively.
And Dell just gives like a little nod back.
Hey, Adam, what's this? I don't remember this in the map prior.
I believe that is just some material that was left there. So yeah, that looks to be a... Yeah, for now I'm going to say don't worry about that. I think that was just part of the map. So yeah, it's nothing of significance.
Cool.
But what if it's a clue? Let's search it.
It is not a clue. I can give you that 100% without even needing to roll.
I want to roll and risk it.
All right, so you guys are all wanting to head upstairs now?
Yep.
On the way up,
Yeah.
Ramvon puts his hand on Leopold's shoulder to hold him back for a moment. He says, "Listen, have you been here before?"
No, not actually.
Just they kind of talked about this place all the time. I don't know. I guess I just built it up in my mind to be a little better than it's just every place I've ever been.
I mean, you know, when like when you get involved in something and it happens in a place, that place becomes special. So I imagine that's what happened here.
Yeah, fair point.
I mean, it's fine place. Think about look, like, there's an animated armor thing over there. That's cool. And there's a big ogre. I mean, you know, this has got some character to it.
Maybe it grows on you.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Was it second door on the right or left, Adam?
South.
Oh, right. Well, no need to dilly-dally. Let me open the door. Come on in, get cozy. Please don't mess up my bed, though. Like, ugh.
Too late.
Immediately ran towards.
Oh, look, Booger likes your bed too.
Oh, that's great. All right, well, just to be clear, I'm just going to put this in the room with what we describe as a false water cistern. I'm just going to, it'll last 10 minutes, and I will be watching, and I could switch to hearing and go back and forth, and maybe we'll get lucky.
In the barmaiden said, I told her that we have news of Alan if she is curious to know his whereabouts. So we should expect her at some point, potentially.
Well, I'd rather wait. This is a very delicate thing, casting these magics. I can't just do divination magic in the air with strangers around. It's quite distracting, particularly when, there's conversation going on. We'll wait.
All right, a half hour passes by as you're looking at each other, twiddling your thumbs, wondering what exactly is going to occur here or how long it will take this barmaid to come upstairs. Another half hour passed by. It's been an hour. So far, no sign of her.
Okay. Before we
end up sleeping here, no, I
yeah.
want to cast it. Yeah. All right, I'm going to cast it, Adam.
All right, so you cast the spell, and your goal is to put the sensor inside of the room where you spotted the water cistern and see what is happening.
Correct. Vision first, please.
Yes, guidance on Brandel if anything comes up. So,
as it appears in the corner of this room, it looks much like last time you were there, which overall is not all that long ago. You can see this water barrel looking type object in the southeast corner. It is not moving or giving you any kind of indication that it is actually a construct. There are two soldiers or guards standing nearby. They look like they're standing at attention. There is a cell behind them, and you can notice that there is a younger elvish man sitting just kind of cross-legged against the back wall. I don't believe the sensor can move, if I recall, right?
Yeah, I can't move it.
Yeah,
but that's the benefit of putting it somewhere. So
right, so that's how I'd say as much as you can make out in this area. There is a small cauldron in the center of the room that has a small flame in it that you presume is for light purposes. There's several cages around that are not currently being used. A couple barrels that might contain a variety of stuff. You're not sure exactly, and a couple other random containers. But yeah, these guards seem to be just standing stock still.
What do I hear? I'll switch to hearing. As an action.
Let's see. Okay, so you switch to hearing. It is fairly quiet. You can hear the sound occasionally of what you presume to be a prisoner complaining or just kind of mumbling or groaning, that sort of thing. The guards seem to be very quiet, not making much noise at all, just kind of standing there perfectly still, so you're not seeing them anymore, so I won't say that. You just don't hear any sound from them. You would just hear the sound from the potential prisoners.
Well, there's not much I could do. Just about every minute or so, I'll just flip back and forth, and you can let me know if I got lucky. To sight, to hearing.
Brandel, how?
Yes.
You said that the guards were standing still. How still are they standing? See if they blink.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. I'll switch back to sight, and I'll stare at their eyes and see if they're blinking.
Give me an insight check.
With guidance.
Do it blind. You almost got me. Let me click the guidance. Don't I have global guidance? No, I don't. I have a global blast. Okay, with guidance. Here we go.
And you said you checked you checked guidance already. Or you're throwing that separate.
No, I don't have it on my sheet. So that's what is that for guidance?
1d4.
D4.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of watching them for this minute, looking to see if they blank. They are pretty still, but yeah, I guess I'll say based on your roll, you don't notice them blink, but your angle is not that great either.
Sorry, I don't. I didn't notice them blinking, but I'm just at a terrible angle apparently.
Well, it's just a thought.
All right, and I'll just keep switching back and forth at them for the 10 minutes.
Okay, so after this 10 minutes passes and the sensor then winks out, go ahead and give me a perception check.
With guidance?
Unless you casted it a second time.
I'll keep going on it until his sensor is done.
Okay, go ahead and throw that D4 as well then, Brandel. Yeah, the only thing that really sticks out to you here is during this entire time of watching or listening, you didn't see the guards move at all, and you didn't hear them make a sound.
All right, I'll come to. Well, Leo, I think we're onto something here. It seemed really suspicious that they didn't really move for 10 minutes. I mean, look at Lexi. She can't sit still for 10 seconds.
People cough or scratch their nose or that sort of thing. You didn't see any of that.
No, I didn't. Did I, Adam?
No.
All right. So safe to say that they are part of something controlled or part of the whole whatever this is. All right. Well, now what? Do we want to try Renvan's plan, or do we want to just go to Oldar directly? I suppose I'm just worried that Olvan, there's too many U names in the city. Olvan will do something to fuck it up for us, and that would be a problem. That's my thought with him.
But do you remember Cedric said that he talked to the guards and they ate, and he swore that they had cookies and all this stuff?
I mean, just because he's an asshole, that's why. Not so much that he's under their control, but just want to be nasty. Because we did accuse him of being a artificial being, which, really, in the grand scheme of things, isn't that bad to call someone. But, he seems like kind of a jerk, so...
Well, Ranvan, it seems to be we're the ones who mucked it up, and we look to you for any reparations you might recommend.
I mean, it's still the same idea as before. I think we let. I'm also confused with all the U names. Is it Ulvin?
Yes.
The Jailer man. We let him take credit for the discovery. Once we can confirm it's there, we call him to the door, let him know about it, and say, we'll let you take full credit for this and be on our way.
There's a good chance that we'll tell that to him, and then he'll go and check it out and either get killed by them or just totally not care at all, and then the problem's still there.
I think the man is undoubtedly, okay? Undoubtedly the man is an ass, but I don't think that he's necessarily a bad person.
I think he is a bad person, actually. And he was very adamant against anything that we suggested. So I don't know if he's going to listen to us at all. In fact, he might do the opposite of whatever we suggest. He may go and intentionally join them after we tell him where they are.
Now, I personally believe if those guys, our guards, didn't move for 10 minutes and it's not alarming to Ulfin, then he's definitely involved.
That's possible too.
Wouldn't you notice somebody who just stands there for 10 minutes, not even scratching his ear? Or his saggy... Oh, never mind.
I could also see him saying that to himself that those are very exemplar guards and that they're doing exactly what they should be doing. I don't know.
And you notice Philorane in the corner here suddenly raises his head almost like a little mouse and says, I might have a suggestion.
For God's sakes, man, just say it. It's okay. We're friends.
Well, if this guy's as hot-headed as you said, what if, sometimes when Gertrude, you can't really tell her that she's wrong, but you have to just tell her that she's right in a different way. And then it works. So, what if you were to go to him and say, we're really sorry about what we did. We apologize. Let us know if there's anything we can do to make amends. Clearly, we must have been wrong because upon further research, the only way this would work is if there was this large metallic object inside the dungeons. And we looked in there when you showed us around, and clearly there was nothing like that. And then, if that sparks something in his mind, maybe he says, actually there is something like that. And then you say, well, really? Oh, I'm sure it's nothing, but do you want us to just check it out real quick and make sure? And then maybe you convince him a little bit of the silver tongue, It never hurts to, kind of bow and scrape a little bit every now and again.
Leo is kind of giving the pondering face while Philorane is saying all this, and then he kind of gives a side eye to Ranvon and Randall and Del and Lexi and kind of nods and shrugs sounds good to me.
Well, if we go with that, I nominate the Pansy Man to do it.
Okay, just to be clear, though, that is just my idea, but with the apologizing you guys said you didn't want to do before. The only reason my idea had less of that was because you said you wouldn't.
Well, that was the key point here is that Philorane's going to do the apologizing and we'll just stand back and nod.
You want a man that he's never met. Sorry, let me compose myself. You want a man that he's never met to show up and apologize on our behalf. Won't that seem a little insincere?
Well, it will also seem like we're not the ones there that pissed him off in the first place.
Were you aware that there's a sitting room next to this?
Well, of course I was. I'm a divination wizard.
I like how Del's just oh, there's another room over here. I mean, again, I don't really want to apologize to him at all. So there is that. And
wait a minute. I don't know if this is crazy or not, but Alan's in jail, rotting under there. Would that armor thing by the front door, that's a construct, right?
The animated armor? The moving armor?
Clank. Yeah. His name is Clank.
Clank. I just wonder if, I don't know, somehow another construct would gain more purchase than we would.
Good question. Well, I don't know. Ulvin there may be certain orders now about constructs in general. I don't know. I wonder. Well, I don't know if the armor downstairs is going to agree to lend us a hand or a gauntleted fist in general. Anyway, I suppose we could ask, but.
Well, so just to recap, because I can get lost in the sauce. We're at the House of Wonders. Alan and the other orc guy were somewhat innocent bystanders that got arrested while other constructs actually stole the thingy, right? And that's why they're in jail. So we know Construct stole the thingy from the House of Wonders, and now we also know that the jail's infiltrated by Constructs, right?
Right.
Yes.
So I'm just thinking maybe if we had a Construct on our side, that might be a good thing. Like, obviously, the Constructs are all going to cover for each other, and if they think that one of us is one of them, then we might have an easier time infiltrating whatever this conspiracy is.
Well, I think again, Ranvon had the idea initially to make it by the book, right, and plant the seed into Olvin. Philerin so astutely regurgitated Ranvon's plan. However, I do feel like we're kind of lost for options apart from infiltrating, which I'm against.
Well, maybe if we got Raven Guard on our side, and can we just call Olvin or Oldar or whatever just the Dungeon Master? Because I'm getting that Dungeon Master and Raven Guard confused.
They'll now be known as the Dungeon Master and Raven Guard. No more use.
Oh, this is going to be bad. I can already see it. That Dungeon Master is such an asshole. We hate that guy.
It's so meta.
Leo was going to ask for the room for just an hour. So.
Hey, and I'm going to take a short rest since we're gabbing around. Do you think we could stay another hour, or can I take a short rest during that hour we're waiting?
Yeah, you guys can certainly qualify for a short rest here.
Can I do a con save to get rid of this last level of exhaustion?
You certainly can, yes.
I'd also like to try and make a con save for my exhaustion.
Yep, feel free to do so.
And Lexi, can you bump my my arm, please? I'd like a jolt from your magic, if you don't mind.
Oh, you're
Thank you.
so high maintenance.
Well, you're jumping on my bed. There's a price for that.
Wait, who said this was your bed?
It has a study. It's mine.
You didn't even know the study was here.
I did so. I'm a divination wizard.
No, Del discovered the study.
Just a punch, please. Thank you.
Lexi, roll a d6 for bludgeoning damage.
Do
Oh.
you want me to roll it or you?
Just kidding, you guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
So what's our plan? We're gonna go grovel?
I suppose.
Leo, I don't see any other option. Ranvon is right again.
And I don't believe that getting ourselves arrested would be good for any of us. I know I have... My business is based outside of these walls, so... Being arrested would greatly harm my reputation in this.
That'll be the last backup plan employed.
So what is it exactly that we need to tell this dungeon master?
Well, Leo, go ahead, Leo.
I think it's essentially exactly what Farron said. We go up there and apologize, and then we kind of insinuate that we were wrong about what we discovered, and that this was the thing that we're really needing to find, but we didn't see it. But well, we'll just have to go back to the drawing board, and hopefully that's enough of a hint for Dungeon Master to pick up on that he might remember something.
Yeah. It just seems kind of complicated. Leo, you should be the one to apologize and talk to him, I think.
Who's the one that insulted him the most?
Leo,
Probably
you should
me.
be the one to talk to and apologize, I think.
Oh my god.
let's go.
Give me a
then.
persuasion check.
Yeah. I'm gonna need persuasion DC 25.
Leo,
Leo.
I will be with you. You're not going to apologize alone.
To be perfectly honest, I at this point am so over it. I don't care. Let's go and do this. And if that jerk off doesn't get the hint, we'll go to Raven Guard and let him know, and then wash our hands of it.
And at this point, since we've decided on the plan, and not to alarm you guys, but remember at the helm and cloak, I sensed divination eye upon us? Well, again, I sensed it while we were talking to Halix. At this time, I saw a figure in the orb, but I couldn't make it out. So we are not alone, but nothing to worry. We should continue on with our plan.
Haven't we had enough of that being in Infernus, always being spied upon?
Well, it could very well be Asmodeus himself, right? After all, I am soon to be turned into a mighty lich for the great Devil Lord Asmodeus himself. If we don't hurry, I feel that this actually might be pressure upon me to know my fate is almost sealed. So can we get this dumb construct thing done and go save my soul?
That was supposed to be fillery, by the way.
Well, when you typed that out, I was like, "Oh, have we been saying his name wrong the whole time?"
No, drop down options too close in the list. All right, so it sounds like you guys' plan then is to exit the Elfsong Tavern and make your way back over to the Sewer Keep.
Yes.
All right, fair enough. Yes, you guys make your way out of the upper floor here, back down to the common room, exit out of the Elfsong Tavern, finding yourself back in the city streets. It's more mid-afternoon at this point, 3:34-ish, as you guys are making your way across the city.
Leo, if you have trouble groveling, I can always command you to grovel.
That's true. It's a total command.
Well, Del, part of me is horrified. The other part of me is pondering it. It might be needed. Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that because I just got this. Hold on, and Leo's patting himself down, looking for a pouch, and he finally finds it and unbuckles it, and inside is this strange saucer-looking thing that he pulls out, and he presses a button on the center of it, and it immediately sprays out a pink smoke that smells really nice, and he casts enhanceability on himself with the charisma benefit on it.
All right, nice. So you are enhanced with your charisma.
Is that Eagle Splendor? I think so. Whatever the charisma one is.
I think it is, yes.
So, just keep the Gravelian thing in your back pocket there, Del. I think I'll be able to manage.
Okay.
But don't I smell good, Lexi? It smells nice, right?
I was disappointed in you when you even considered being commanded to grovel, and then you put that pink stuff on yourself. And my disappointment went beyond.
But Lexi, it's like sometimes you have to do stupid shit to get the other stupid shit that you want to do done.
I know. I've been adventuring with you guys for a while now. I know.
Fair enough.
You've never pulled the pink stuff out before.
It's true. I just kind of, I don't know. I retooled it. It's a new scent. It's a different season.
So you just want to smell good for the Dungeon Master?
Essentially. But you can enjoy it too. I mean, here, let me waft it over.
Can constructs smell?
Silver can.
Okay.
If they're sentient, right?
I think so. Most of them, depending on if they have a nose or not.
Well, Leah, I think you're doing something very cool, and that you smell quite nice.
And Leo just frowns and keeps watching.
All right, you guys make your way all the way through the city streets of Baldur's Gate, passing through these different sections of the city, make your way into the Sea Tower quarter, find yourself over towards the Sewer Keep, and find yourself at the entrance once again. You notice a couple of guards standing at the front. Look as you're approaching. You notice the one kind of looks to his buddy, and you see them exchanging some chat before you're getting too close. And then he turns back and looks towards you and says, "Yes, what can we do for you?"
Can you let the dungeon master know that the adventurers who so egregiously offended him earlier have returned to apologize?
Olven.
You notice he kind of cocks his head a bit and says, "Oh, yes, let me see if I can track the warden down. Just a moment." And you see he passes on in, and you notice the other kind of standing there, and he's kind of like making an effort to not look right at you. You notice him kind of looking up and around and just doesn't seem to want to lock eyes with you. But you guys wait there for perhaps 5 minutes or more before you notice suddenly the door is opened once again. You see that same guard step out, and you notice Ulven steps out as well. And you see he looks you up and down and says, "Oh, I see no Commander Ravenguard with you now. So, you've just returned on your own. Well, let's hear it."
I'm sorry for accusing you of being a construct. That was most ungracious of me, especially after we determined that you were not. I hope you'll accept our apology.
And you
It
notice
turns
he
out-
nods slowly for a moment, and he says, "I suppose, yes. Obviously, this idea of yours was incredibly ridiculous, and I hope you've learned your lesson, not to just go around throwing wild accusations like this again. But yes, I can be a gentleman. I will certainly accept your apology."
Right. Well, yeah, we determined that what we thought was the issue wasn't quite it. Turns out we're looking for something entirely different altogether. It's like a strange metallic device. Kind of looks like a bit of a water tower, I suppose, in some respects, but it's this large, I don't know, square, roundish metallic thing. Matt is trying to remember actually what it looked like so he can describe it.
Give me
Did
a
we put that in the
persuasion
chat?
check here, Leopold.
Okay. At advantage,
Yes.
Using charisma.
do I, if I click advantage on my sheet, does that send it to you, or do you just get it?
I
at
get it from the
advantage?
blind check automatically.
Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a flash of genius on this, my last one. So let's see if it does any good.
All right, and Flash of Genius is how much on top?
+5.
Okay. You notice as you say this, he kind of raises an eyebrow and scoffs for a moment, and then he looks down and says, "Well, yes, as it is not here, that is good to know, but just humor me. What precisely did it look like?" And at this point, you can just say you detail him as much as you like if you want.
We'll give him as much detail as possible.
And you notice he nods for a moment and he says, "Yes, that certainly would stick out and be quite curious. And what effect would this have, or what is the danger? Just in case somebody should happen to say they spotted something like this."
Well, I suppose there's several layers of possible danger. One, the object itself might be able to transform into something else that could possibly be dangerous. I'm sure you've seen large golem-like creatures and constructs. Think something along those lines, perhaps. Or it could take a variety of shapes. It could also be, I don't know, some sort of perhaps mind control aura or field around it. It might be able to make its own minions or guards. Several, I think, possibilities there. We're not 100% sure exactly what it is, so it's hard to nail down, but I think those are definitely in the realm of possibility.
You notice he loops his thumbs inside of his belt loop here for a moment and kind of rocks a little bit on his feet, just slightly, as he's looking towards you. And that's quite curious. Yeah, quite curious indeed. And I suppose you know how all about these things and how to handle them and all of that.
Generally speaking, we've had a few chats with the folks at the High Hall of Wonders, so we more or less know what we're dealing with, and I have some experience as well. And they'll pat Silver on her metallic head. So yeah, I suppose we generally know what we're talking about.
And you notice he looks back up and he says, well, you know, just for being complete then, there is one curious thing that inside of the dungeons, perhaps you could take a quick look. Maybe the rest of your friends just wait out here. You said you could identify it, right? I want to make sure no one's throwing around any strange spells, as he looks over towards Brandel.
Oh, well, yes. I apologize for that. You can see we were kind of caught up in the moment, and it wasn't you, but there's something in there that's not natural. Hopefully we can discover it. I do feel a bit nervous having Leo alone. I trust you, but like you said, that construct could just automatically animate or at any moment. It would be safer for you and for your guards and for us and for Leopold to all be around together, I suspect.
Give me a persuasion check, Brandel.
Okay, I'm going to... I was going to portend that. It's not going to help. Okay.
You notice he kind of looks at you as you make this argument, and he nods slowly, and he says, okay, well, you know, just to be safe, why don't you pick two of your group then? And you see he looks towards you, Leopold. Not him, as he points back towards Brandel. Yeah, appreciate your explanation and all that, but again, would really like to prevent any kind of random throwing of spells, and until you can prove that you're under, you know, your own control and don't just randomly throw spells, I think it best that you wait behind. So how about you can all enter. 3 of you will remain right at the entrance. The other 3 can follow me. It's probably nothing, but we'll check this out really quick. If there's problems, I'm sure you can get over there before too long.
Leo, would obviously it's your choice, but
I was thinking you, Del.
Well, we need comms. I know what you're thinking, Del.
Yeah,
Is it better for you to stay or for you to come?
It's better for me to stay, as my hubris may get the best of me in some situations.
I'll go.
Lexi, Ranvan.
Yeah.
I'd come if you want me to. It's up to you. You know these machines better than I do. I trust you here, Leopold. I have great faith in you, and I believe in you.
Well, I was more thinking if anything went down, you two will smash everything in the room and keep each other alive long enough for the rest of them to catch up.
Yeah. Good plan. That's always the plan.
Sounds good.
Okay.
But how will we know if something's amiss, Olvin?
It's not exactly that far from the area I'm thinking of back to reception. I'm sure a hollered shout will reach.
Oh, excellent.
I'll yell.
Perhaps we wait in reception?
Yes, that is what I said.
Okay.
Del's
We're about to
hard
get
hearing.
kicked out again. Here we go.
Okay, we'll go now. Let's go before we argue ourselves into a cell.
All right, as you enter back into the sewer keep with Olvin at the front, he looks and he says, the 3 of you that are coming, step forward.
Is it all right if my wolf Silver comes as well?
It doesn't shoot
That's a-
magic randomly, does it?
No, it just bites on command.
Yes, that.
Fine.
Thank you. She's my seeing eye dog, really.
All right. Well, actually, Cedric's not here. So Philarain, Brandel, and Ranbon are the ones staying behind?
And Dell.
Oh, right. Dell wasn't here last time, was he? So let's go ahead and drag Dell on there.
It's fine. I gotta leave in like 6 minutes anyway. So.
Right. Okay, so the box is with Brandel, I presume?
Yes.
All right, fair enough. So Dell is there in spirit. All right, so as you guys start approaching, you notice Alvin turns the corner, starts making his way over towards this same area you guys were at before. He looks toward these two guys and he says, there's some guests back in reception. Just make sure they're comfortable and no issues occur. And you see they both sort of nod and walk over this way. And then he looks back towards you and says, come on.
So I don't want to belabor the role play here, but I'm going to engage with them in conversation and just assess their humanism manners and ask if there's any tea.
As you ask this question, you notice the one that has the bow kind of resting against her thigh looks to you and says, do you think you're at an inn?
Well, no, sorry. I thought it was in a reception area. It's quite nice.
You're in a prison.
Yes, never been. Sorry.
Adam, what's that?
That is a woman lying on a cot inside of a cell.
Okay. The body's not being eaten by anything, right?
Probably your line of sight, you only saw her legs, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Brandel, perhaps. Can I see the box, please? I think Gertrude might prove more useful than I in this situation.
Sounds good, Adam, but I don't want to trigger a response by the guards. Can I do it discreetly so that it doesn't look like I'm just made someone disappear and made someone else appear?
You don't think so? No, not here. But of course, you could just step out back the way you came, and that's fairly private.
All right, I'll step out, do that, and then come back in.
All right, so we will then presume that Dell is back into the box and Gertrude has once again popped out. Okay, the rest of you guys, as you're following Ulvin here to this backside, you notice that once you get here, he points towards this large circular object, which looks, again, very similar to like a mini water tower would be your closest approximation. As he looks towards it, he looks towards you and he says, like I said, I'm sure it's probably nothing, but, well, I don't exactly know when this was installed. I was, off my shift one day. I actually had one day off, and when I came back, this was suddenly here. I did ask around, and they said it was some type of a new water container. It was kind of odd, and you notice as you step there, Lexi, you notice one of the guards raises a hand, and he looks towards you, and he says, please stay back. You must avoid getting too close to the prisoner's cell.
We're talking about this thing, right?
Yes. You notice Ulvin steps down the stairs and looks towards the guard and says, yeah, it's fine. They're just checking out the water thing. They think there might be something strange with it. And you notice the guard blinks very expectedly or almost dramatically so. And then he looks back and says, yes, sir, I understand, but perhaps now is not the best time. And you notice Ulvin kind of cocks his head and says, I am the warden here. Get the fuck out of the way. And you notice the guard kind of like looks towards him, again, without much expression on his face. And you see he kind of steps forward. And as he does, this is where we're going to go ahead and pause, guys, and take our 15-minute break.
All right. Good luck, guys.
All right, guys, we are back in session here. The group has just triggered perhaps an encounter here as they've entered the cell and started trying to analyze this metallic object. All right, back over on the dungeon map. So, as Lexi, you tried to push forward and you saw this guy kind of get in your way. Ulvin then very angrily trying to command this guy to move. You notice suddenly as steam suddenly emerges from this central plate, and you can hear sort of a metallic, raspy sound of almost like a typewriter is the impression you get, and then suddenly a loud, droning sound that seems to echo through a large portion of this dungeon.
Leopold, how are we going to know if this is the thing we're looking for?
I'm gonna aim my crossbow at Ranbon, and I'll say, "That's what I wanted you to say," and I'll shoot.
And as you're wondering this, back on the other side, Brandel, Gertrude, and Philarain can also hear this sudden loud sound, almost like a tonal sound of some kind. And you notice suddenly, Brandel, as this individual who is close by you just steps forward very quickly, and as she does, you notice all emotion seems to drain out of her face as it just goes completely flat. As she's stepping forth towards you, you notice she does not bring her bow with her. Instead, her right arm suddenly elongates out into a stabbing apparatus as she approaches you and does indeed try to stab out. All right, first time trying this out. So Brandel, go ahead and make a defensive roll. All right, so you've rolled a 13, and not hearing anything on top of that, I'm going to say you're hit.
Okay, then I'm going to do.
All right, you cast Shield, which is going to increase your AC by 5, and with that, you will not be struck. Your shield is still on effect, as you notice this individual then swings out a second time, so I'll need another defensive roll, and we will add 5 to that roll since shield's still in effect.
Oh, the...
All right, yes, once again, this blade strikes into this arcane barrier that has surrounded you as we move next to Leopold, who is the next quickest to act.
Leo will say, "I think this is it, Ranbon," and then he's going to, what are we gonna do here? Boy, I don't know what's going to happen yet. So let's just make it easy and I'll move. Oh, tokens are locked.
Oh, my bad. There you go.
He's going to scoot down here. He's going to. Can I target the device?
Sure.
I'm going to fire off 2 sharpshooter shots at it. Here they come. Still, yep, I should be all good. They're not at advantage.
You notice both of these strike into the object, but harmlessly fling off.
Yay! Well, that's not going to work. He's going to whistle for Silver to burst into action. She's going to... I'm guessing she can go here, right? Next to this thingy?
Yeah, she could.
Okay. She's going to take a bite at the guard that didn't want to get out of the way.
All right, sounds good. All right, she leaps forth and does indeed chomp onto this guard's arm, wounding him.
Good. And is he bleeding blood?
Not that you can see, no.
Okay. I think that is all Leo is going to do.
All right, back on the other side, you're going to notice Philarain looks over towards Gertrude and says, "I think it would be better on him, right?" She's like, "Yeah, that's fine." And you notice he motions with his hand really quick, and Brando, you feel suddenly as something surrounds you. It's a very strange feeling, but almost like maybe there's a cylinder of some kind suddenly surrounding and floating nearby. On top of that, he is going to quickly cast a spell as he fires off some magic. Critically hitting. Alright, so normal damage, and the creature only has half its movement speed on the next turn. Alright, so as this cold damage is applied to the enemy, yes, this certainly seems to take effect. All right, from the other corner of this side, Brandel, you notice this guard rushing forth, shouting, "What in the blazes is going on?" He just charges out towards here.
She attacked me!
Back on the other side, this guy is going to step forth and then step down to here and strike out at Lexi. So Lexi, as he stabs out, you know,
One of those disadvantaged.
all right, so you notice as this occurs, his arm suddenly changes similar to the other one as it turns into this poking instrument. He will stab out at you. Lexi, go ahead and make a defensive roll, and we'll have you roll this twice, and we'll take the higher of the two.
Oops, rookie mistake.
All right, so this first attack will certainly not connect. He will then follow this up with a second strike, another defensive roll. Yeah, once again, as he stabs forth, you manage to evade this strike. All right, Ulvin looks to be quite confused, but not enough that paralyzes him. He is going to strike out at the guard to the north. So notice that great sword that he had on his back. He quickly draws that and then slashes outwards. First will miss, second one will crit. All right, so he hits the creature pretty forcefully. All right, as he does so, slashing out and wounding the creature. You will also notice that it starts to bleed. Or at least drain of some kind of liquid. All right, moving to this individual. You'll notice entering from the other side of the room is another guard whose arm, it looks suspiciously elongated. He is going to step down to here, and that will be his turn. Back on the other side, you're going to notice this individual comes out, looking very confused, bow in hand, aiming over towards you, Brandel, and she says, "Battle, battle!" And you notice she fires off towards you. Brandel,
So I will do
go ahead
a
and give me a
defensive.
defensive roll. All right, still affected by shield, so of course that will not strike. She will then fire a second time, and that will not strike either. And this one's going to sort of rush up. All right. You can definitely hear some more movement around this area. Randall, you will notice another one of these individuals approaching with that arm shifting as he strikes out towards you. All right, this first attack will miss thanks to your shield. Go ahead and roll another one as he strikes out a second time. Yeah, once again, unable to connect. Ranvan, you notice this prisoner in the corner here suddenly stands up, steps towards the bars, and as he does, you notice his entire body starts to syngelically spin, as in like each part of his body starts turning, forming, clinking, interlocking into different pieces as he turns into a mechanical snake and slithers through the bars.
Oh, come on. Him too?
This one will attack out at Lexi. So Lexi, defensive roll. All right, so this will count as a fumble for our attacker here. So go ahead and roll a piercing fumble, Lexi. Actually, I think it's just melee weapon fumble. All right, can't drop his arm, so unfortunately that won't apply, but he will then swing a second time. So Lexi, another defensive roll. Yes, and once again, unable to penetrate your defenses. right, next up is Brandel.
Okay, so I thought maybe I was sanctuaried, but apparently they just attacked me, so there was no save for that. So I'm thinking whatever he gave me, I don't know what it was. Can I do an Arcana thing to see what it was, Adam?
I'm not sure you'd be familiar with this, having, as far as I know, never experienced it before.
Okay. I am going to... Okay, so did they both attack me with like metallic arms, it looked like?
Yes. Now that they're next to you and their arms are shifted, I will go ahead and put a yellow dot on the ones that you know for sure have elongated arms.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. This guy here, I'm going to shocking grass him with a cantrip. I guess hopefully with advantage.
Yes, I would say this is an advantage. Yes, that will certainly connect.
Okay.
All right, as this lightning reacts and strikes into him, you notice it has no effect.
Oh. Let me mark that down in my journal. I'm going to move back. Go ahead, have at it.
All right, you will take 2 opportunity attacks, so I'll need 2 defensive rolls.
All right. And my reactions restart, right?
Yeah, so shield's no longer on you at the moment, but yes, if you roll poorly, you could choose to burn another slot. All right, so the first one, no, it certainly will not connect. Second one will not connect either.
All right, so that's 5, 10, 15 here. Action, movement, and then from here, I'm going to push... I have some movement left. I'm going to go from here and try to push this guy 5 feet back. Please?
You're talking about Philarain, or you're talking about the enemy?
The enemy.
Okay, the enemy. I was going to say, Philarain's definitely going to try to resist that. Okay, so he's going to try to resist this. So
17.
Yes, this should be a strength saving throw. So, okay, I've got a macro for this as well. He is not pushed back.
All right, action, bonus action. We're good. And my turn. Where's the buttons look funny? I went to the dark mode and it made everything look funny. There we go.
I know. I feel like they still haven't figured dark mode out, so I haven't adopted it quite yet. Moving over to Ranvon.
I thought you guys wanted that Roll20 sponsorship.
I mean, dark mode's amazing, and it's got great polish. And
Cut it out here. Cut this out. Okay. Hey, if you're hearing this in the YouTube video, comment it so that we know to come back and edit it out. All right, here we go. I'm going to use embodiment of the law to do bless as a bonus action. Targeting myself, Lexi, and Leo.
Thanks.
Thanks, Rainbow.
And then with my action, I'm going to cast Sacred Flame on the guy between me and the guard captain.
Okay, and that will be a dexterity saving throw for him. So remember, new rule, because this is a save, you're going to roll d20 and just check to see if this is a crit or a fumble. Okay, it's not. Here comes the save. Yes, he will be affected as this radiant energy strikes down and wounds him.
That is me.
All right, next up is Lexi.
Okay. I have some questions.
Sure.
So when the thing popped up and steamed out, like you said, before we started, was it this thing?
The steam actually emerged from what looks like this water tower object over here, and then a tone emerged from it that seemed to move out quickly and cover quite a significant area of the dungeons, was your impression from the sound.
And Leo did try and hit it with his crossbow bolts, and that seemed to not do anything.
Okay, and then what are these things?
Those are cages, so think of those as like they would hold an individual prisoner. They'd only be able to stand or maybe sit and squeeze really tight. So it is taking up that space. If you move there, consider it squeezing.
And what is this little bowl thing?
That's like a brazier that holds fire for light.
Does it have fire in it?
It does, yeah. It has some coals and has a small flame in the bottom.
Sweet. Okay. Lexi, he's gonna obviously go rage.
All right, you got that special defensive effect.
Okay, so you guys are gonna see Lexi kind of burst into these kind of like multicolored lights around her, and both Silver and the Dungeon Master are going to feel a little bit more well defended.
And I believe Ranvan and Leopold as well, because I think that stretches out to 10 feet from you.
Oh yeah, 10 feet. So y'all will feel better.
Does this look like disco lights?
For some reason, for Lexi, I imagine like 99 bottles of beer on the wall. They're just like clinking around you.
Okay, yeah, that works too.
Yeah, like little, like the belly dancers have, like the fabulous little multicolored jingly bells.
Perfect.
That's awesome. I love this image. And she's just... And, my other question was, hypothetically, for purposes of rage, would this count as an attack on a creature?
It depends if it's a creature or not.
If it's a construct, would it count as a creature?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I will take a swing at it, this guy.
All right, you slash forward at that guy and certainly connect, chopping into him and wounding him.
And I'll try and wound him some more.
And that certainly will, as you slash right into his arm, and you can hear a crunching sound as you do.
All right. And I'll stand my ground.
All right, back over at the other side. This guard actually rushes this way, and you can hear him shouting, "Warden! Warden! Crazy shit's going on back here!" This guy also looks like he has no interest in getting involved in this and starts rushing off. Down the hall, you can hear him saying, Guys, there's something crazy happening!"
Did I lose audio?
No, I'm just rolling some NPC stuff real quick. Big battle here. All right, you hear a death cry from down that hallway. All right, so back up at the top room, you notice this object here, this water tank, suddenly starts to move, spin, and twist. And as it does so, you can see the interior of it folds outward into some black metallic form. Suddenly before you, you see a large construct, circular barrel in shape that has these two large arms sticking out of it and a constant stream of steam seeming to escape from its body.
Leo says, "Oh shit!"
With wicked axe blades fastened along its arms and bronze runes inlaid on its armored torso, this construct is a smooth-running machine of death. That's the character description for him. From here, what you're going to see, Lexi, is once again you hear that sort of like typewriter type motion, and you're not sure exactly what this indicates, but you will notice that one of his arms suddenly elongates even longer than it was before and can now reach you, and he is going to strike out with this chopping long axe. Lexi, I'll need you to make a defensive roll. This axe comes down and chops into you solidly with a massive blow. And you're going to suffer 44 points of slashing. You are raging, so we'll cut that in half down to 22. All right, after he does that, striking down, that will be his turn. Back on the other side of things, Gertrude looks back towards Brandil with a bit of a chuckle and she says, should have known this beardy was going to step behind me. Move it back to me. And you see she rushes up now, and as she does, with sword in hand, she strikes out. And she will swing out with her halberd a couple times. And will connect on, I believe, both of these strikes. Yes, both of these strikes will connect. All right, and as she chops out, she wounds the creature in front of her. All right, with that complete, we move to the top of the next round. And let's see, this one is actually going to slip on by, stepping past Gertrude, and Gertrude will take that opportunity attack. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry, she won't, because she has a halberd and hasn't left her reach yet. This creature moves right up towards you, Brandil, and stabs out once again. I'll need another defensive roll.
I'll shield that.
All right, even though you shield, this is still going to connect. All right, so as this blade punctures into your body, you're going to suffer 7 points of piercing damage. Then I will also need a Constitution saving throw.
And that's blind, or?
No, you can just make that normally. Yeah, you certainly succeed on that, suffering no additional effects. All right, we move back up to... Oh, actually, that was only the first attack. For some reason, I thought that was the second one. So let me get you one more defensive roll there, Brandil. Yeah, that one you will certainly be missed on as we move to Leopold's turn.
Leo's going to say, this is a problem. Then he's going to... I guess he's going to ignore the guy to his left for now. And... actually, he's going to cast Blink on himself.
All right, as you cast the Blink spell, just as you're beginning to cast it, you hear a sudden loud whistle emit from this large construct that just unformed and is to your east. I'll need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Boy.
The spell does not take effect, so you lose your action, but you do not lose the slot, so you can give yourself that slot back.
Ugh. He's gonna wince and say, that was freaking loud. Silver, do something. Silver's gonna attack the one to Lexi's east.
I thought you were going to say the Lex West, but all right.
Let's go into Lex east.
Yes, this will connect as well, tearing into a bit of this creature's leg.
And since we need to do some damage, we're gonna put an arcane jolt onto that. As soon as I get the button.
All right, yeah, so an additional impact from the bite of Silver. Yes, that will hit him as well.
And that's, I think, everything Leo's gonna do.
All right, back on the other side, you'll notice Philorane once again moves with his arcane hand, and you feel that barrier around you suddenly fall off, Brandil, and it is replaced around Gertrude. On top of that, he is going to cast a quick spell here. Yes, he will cast a quick spell as he touches you, Brandil, and suddenly you are invisible.
Oh. Shh.
And then he'll just take a step to there. All right, back at this side, this guard is very confused at what's going on, but You see him looking towards Gertrude and looks back, and then he just kind of steps back, and you hear her go, "Yeah, probably a good idea." All right, back on this side, this guy is going to strike out at Lexi. Lexi, I'll need a defensive roll from you. This one manages to connect, Lexi, so you're going to suffer 8 cut down to 4 piercing damage, and I'll need a Constitution saving throw. All right, thanks to that bless effect, you will not suffer any additional ill effects from this, but I will need a second defensive roll. Oh, actually, one other thing. Real quick, hang on one sec. On that first strike, in addition to the damage already declared, this also will qualify for sneak attack, so you'll suffer an additional 14 cut down to 7. So 7 more damage on top of that, Lexi. And then Leopold, I'm assuming you're going to disadvantage the second attack?
Yeah, I would have done it on the first one, but I was reading a spell.
All right, so the second attack, you'll go ahead and roll that at advantage. So just roll 2 defensive rolls, Lexi, and we'll take the higher one. And if we decide we like this method going forward, I'll just update the macro to always roll both rolls, and then we can, take advantage if it exists.
Okay. Can I also, you know what? Ooh, I'm going to try this.
Actually, I think updating the macro will just take 2 seconds, so I think I just did it. All right. Yeah, so you're going to use that. Okay, so I think we've got that built in for you already, right? Like if you click on your token, you should see that up in the token actions, where you can click the Wild Surge roll and find the new effect.
Okay. The token action. So I click my token and then I click the gear.
If you click your token, then up at the top where all those buttons are displayed, you should see one that says Wild Surge roll.
Oh, yes, sir. Yep.
Oof. Okay. All right. Fun stuff. All right. So this is the pretty bad one. So this is going to affect everybody in this area. So let's start with Ranvon.
I knew I was going to get that one.
This is
1 out of 7, and I rolled it like 4 times.
I know. The odds certainly seem stacked for this one. So, Ranvon, let's start with you. So this is going to be a wisdom saving throw. And based on our new rules, Lexi, go ahead and roll a d20 and determine if this is a crit or a fumble. Okay, so no effect there. So, Ranvon, wisdom saving throw, please.
I'm just clicking this, right? Not blind check?
Correct. All right, so you succeed, so no damage for you. Then we will go to the guy just below you. He is going to fail. Let me see if he's affected by this. He is. So, yes, you'll notice he will take some damage. So, Lexi, go ahead and throw 3d6. All right, so he'll take some damage. And you notice, in addition to taking this damage, Lexi, he actually jitters. His body seems to be, in some way, suffer an additional effect from this psychic damage.
At least that's good.
All right, after that guy, we will move down to, let's do Silver next.
Hold on.
Let's see. And what is your DC on this, Lexi? Do you recall? I think it's going to be your if I remember correctly, I think it's like Constitution plus your proficiency modifier. So it should be, I'm guessing it's somewhere like 16 or 17. Double
Con
check.
is 9 plus proficiency 4.
Okay, yeah, so 9, and then yeah, so I think that's going to fail then for Silver. So go ahead and roll another 3d6 on Silver. All right, so Silver will suffer that much psychic. Next up, we'll do the guy in the top right. He will succeed, suffering no damage. Then we'll do going to the left side, so 2 west of Lexi. He will succeed, suffering no damage. Then Ulvin. Ulvin will... That's where we got to figure out if it's truly a 16 or a 17. So let me just double check your sheet real quick, Lexi.
It's a 16.
16? Okay, then he is going to pass that. And then next up is the guy to your east. He will succeed. And then the big guy... He will also succeed, suffering no damage. And then Leopold. And I don't think you have advantage, right?
Nope.
Okay, so you will fail. So another 3d6 damage there, Lexi, against Leopold. All right, so as Lexi gives out this mad howling screech, and the sudden area is just shook by her psychic scream, and some of you suffer those effects, that was your reaction to being hit. And then he attacks you a second time, and go ahead and roll a defensive roll. All right, so yeah, I do have this built in going twice. Oh, I got to change the name though. But
Oops, sorry.
no, you're good. So we'll do that first one. So he is going to miss you on that second strike. All right, moving down to Ulvin. He will continue striking to his north. He will connect twice. And he will slash out and wound this guy. All right, next up is this one. All right, and he is looking over towards Leopold. Okay, I think that macro should now be fixed. So Leopold, he's going to stab out at you. Go ahead and roll a defensive roll. Okay, first one will certainly miss, and then he will try a second time. This one will connect.
I'll shield.
Which will set your roll to a 17, and he will still connect. Alright, so that will be 5 points of piercing damage, and then I'll need a Constitution saving throw. Alright, that will succeed, so no additional effects there. Alright, moving back down to this side. Yeah, you're going to notice this archer, having previously shot at you, Brandel, seeing you back up and noticing some weird stuff, looks to be pretty confused, not sure what's going on, is going to also back out of this area. Alright, this one here is similarly going to back away. You're going to hear some more fighting in the halls. This one is going to step to here and strike out at Gertrude. But misses her twice. Over on this side, those of you that can see this guy, he's currently in like a snake-type form. You notice his body suddenly starts changing as he reforms into a humanoid shape. From there, he will step over to here. Alright, this one is going to strike out at Lexi. Lexi, I'll need a defensive roll. This one is going to connect against you. Alright, and that'll be 7, cut down to 3 piercing damage, and then I will need a Constitution saving throw. Alright, you succeed on that, suffering no additional ill effects. He will then stab out a second time, so another defensive roll. This time you manage to evade the strike. All right, we move to Invisible Brandel.
Okay. I'm going to move here. And then move here. And then move here. 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm going to action dash. And can Brandon remember which way it is back there? I'm assuming it's down here and then up there.
That seems to fit with his memory.
Okay, there's action dash 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
All right, as you step to here, as a quick reminder, all the ones marked with a yellow tag, you see this elongated metallic arm where a normal arm should be.
Okay. I could definitely bonus action here, but I don't want to get much closer. Can I drop invisibility on myself? Unless I attack somebody, right? Or cast a spell.
Yeah, if you cast a spell or attack somebody, it would drop, but yeah, you can't just drop it yourself. Because somebody else cast it on you, so they're concentrating on it.
Because of the reminder of this yellow guy, I didn't see him, so instead of moving there, I'll move there. Okay?
Yeah,
good?
That's fair.
I end my turn.
All right, and then just to try to pick the speed up a little bit, Brandel, would you be willing to work Gertrude when her turn comes around?
I'd love to, yes.
All right, I'll set that up for her. Before her turn comes back around, I'll get you access to the sheet. We move over to Ranvon.
Okay. Let me think here. I know I've seen Lexi use her reaction. Have I seen Leopold use his?
I have shielded.
Yeah, okay. All right then. Here's what we're gonna do instead. I am going to cast... No, not that. No, I'm just going to cast Sacred Flame on the guy between me and the guard captain.
All right, yep, another 1d20 roll. See if it's a crit or fumble.
And I'll get that for you.
All right, it is normal. Here comes his save. He is not affected by this.
Okay, I don't know if there's anything I want to do as a bonus action here. I don't really want to drop my concentration just now. So I think that might be it for me. That's it.
All right, Lexi's turn.
All right, Lexi will keep hacking out at that one.
Oh, nice. Crit. Go ahead and roll that crit. How often can you say, yeah, I roll 35 to hit? All right, so we'll take the maximum amount of damage you could have dealt there. And the rage damage, okay. All right, so you slashed out on him strongly, damaging him, but he is still standing.
All right, she'll take another hit at him.
Connects once again as you chop another part off of him. All right, we move back to the south here. This guy is not really sure what's going on here, but he notices suddenly that there's one of these other enemies, and you see he, fairly scared, hops into this little alcove. This guy has been slain, so he's not there anymore. All right, this one steps out, and you notice it pops right over to here, Brandel, and strikes out at the archer to its left. but does not connect on either strike. This one also comes down and strikes out at the archer. This time connecting twice. However, only the base damage, as this archer seems to be pretty resilient. Alright, up to the big guy. Yeah, he is going to continue with that really long arm, Lexi, as he slashes out towards you with this long axe. I will need another defensive roll. He slashes out and manages to connect against you. And let's see, at cutting that in half, it's going to be 13 points of slashing damage. All right, over to Gertrude, who Branda will now work.
Okay, she's gonna go after the one that's next to her boyfriend, right? That makes sense.
I think so, sure.
First attack, it's going to be the halberd. Here we go.
All right, slashes out, and we'll actually switch her back. I forgot she's actually on post to GM at the moment, so we will get her switched back to public rolls. All right, so she slashes out and does indeed connect. Go ahead and post that damage. All right, wounds this guy.
Second attack.
Also connects. And wounds him a second time as he has chopped up a bit here.
Okay, she's going to end her turn. I don't know if I do my end. I can hit my macro over here, right?
I believe so, yeah. Should automatically work since you got the control. All right, top of the round, we've got this one. And yes, she is going to stab out at Fillering down here. And yes, both of these will connect. Fillering manages to pass his save against both of those effects, though, so he will suffer some damage. And he's going to have to make 2 separate Constitution saves to see if he drops concentration on invisibility. So I will throw this as a con save, and we'll use both rolls since he's got to make 2. He passes both and maintains concentration. All right, back to the top here. Leopold's turn.
I'm going to try and shoot this guy right next to Lexi.
The one to her east?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, go ahead and make your attack.
These are going to be regulars. And they're at disadvantage because these other jerks are near me.
Okay, yeah. First attack misses. As does the second.
Bonus action, Silver is going to attack that asshole.
Yeah, Silver manages to connect once again, pulling out part of the robotics on this arm. You can actually see what looks to be metal and perhaps some cords or lines of some kind that seem to be inside of this creature's arm.
I think that's it.
All right, back down on the other side. Let's see, Fillerain. He looks a bit nervous. He's going to cast a quick spell, and suddenly a bunch of blades and things circle around him. Move over to this guy. He is also trying to get the heck out of dodge. Back over on this side, this guy starts bleeding and suffers some damage. And let's see, he's going to continue striking at Lexi, though. So, Lexi, I'll need a defensive roll from you.
Disadvantage.
All right, first one's at disadvantage. So, yes, it will not connect. And another one, Lexi. However, this time the attack does get through. All right, and that will deal 2 points of piercing damage to you after rage is taken into effect, but I will need a con save. And once again, thanks to that bless, no additional effects. All right, Ulven is sort of shouting these profanities here, seemingly very angry as he strikes out to the one to the north. And he will hit twice, one of them being a crit. I think this guy's crit twice so far. That guy's already bleeding, so no additional effects there, as the bleed is actually higher than that bleed. So he will deal his damage twice, though. Alright, he will slash out and wound that guy. Alright, next up is this one here. Alright, Leopold, he's got you dead center looking towards you. He is going to pierce out. I'll need a defensive roll. Yes, you managed to dodge the first strike. A second one flashes forth as this piercing arm aims for your shoulder. This is going to be a critical hit. Yes, because they can crit on any attack. So Leopold, go ahead and roll a piercing crit against yourself. A cruel prick. I like that one. All right, so damage twice, add them together, and roll on the major injury chart. Oof, you rolled bad.
Come on.
So go ahead and roll a major injury for yourself there, Leopold. All right, let's see. Pick one of your arms. You can feel free to pick which one you like, and that arm is disabled as this blade punctures right into your arm and damages it significantly. On top of that, you're going to suffer the critical damage. So here comes that. So that'll be 9 points of piercing damage. Then I'll need a Constitution save. Failing that means you're going to suffer critical poison damage in addition. So that'll be 27 points of poison damage, Leopold, as this strike is just solidly right into your arm, damaging your arm badly. I believe this could be pretty bad because I think your crossbow is two-handed, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, so unfortunately you don't have the strength to use that arm any longer to fire. So that could be particularly bad. All right, we pop over here. This individual is looking very perturbed, but is going to try to back away. Bumps into Brandel. Brandel, do you allow her to get by?
Yes.
And you can hear her sort of shouting the whole time, obviously very flustered here. All right, back over here. This one is going to give chase, heading over here and attacking. Connecting once. She will fail the save and suffer some additional poison damage. And is poisoned. And so yeah, Leo, that would have been an effect on you as well. You are currently considered poisoned. All right, this one is going to strike out at Gertrude. So Gertrude, I don't think we've got defensive. Oh, I guess we do. Perfect. All right, so the first one is going to be a critical on Gertrude. All right, go ahead and roll that critical, Brandel.
I rolled a crit first there, so...
Oh, actually, you know what? That is not going to work because she's set up as an NPC. So I'm going to ignore that and just do normal attacks against her for now.
Okay, so that'll hit, I guess.
Well, so I'll roll this. That's going to be a miss. Second one will be a hit, and then we'll need her to make a con save. So you should be able to just click on the con stat or the saving throw on her sheet for that.
So I'll just hit the con. It's a +2, so I just hit con.
So if you notice in her line that says saving throws, you see it says con +6. That means she has con proficiency. So just click on the word con +6, and it should roll that for you. There you go. Good deal. So she'll succeed on that, not taking that poison damage, not being poisoned, but will suffer 9 piercing damage. So go ahead and deduct that from her. The first attack missed, and then we go up to the top. All right, this guy here is attacking Ranvan on the flank. So Ranvan, defensive roll, please. Yeah, first attack will certainly miss. Second attack on Ranvan. And Ranvan, are you currently shielded or something?
I have a 21 normally, and then I have +1 from Lexi, and I have another +1 coming from I don't know where.
So Lexi dropped that +1 because she switched hers when she rechanged her raid, so you can take that one off. And then, yeah, if you figure out what the other +1 is, go ahead and keep it. Otherwise, just take that off as well. But either way, both of those attacks will miss. All right, moving to this one here. He is going to attack Lexi still. So Lexi, defensive roll, please. Yes, you will dodge the first strike. Second defensive roll. This one will manage to connect. And that's going to deal 2 points of damage to you, Lexi, but I will need a con save. Once again, thanks to that bless, not affected. All right, let's move to this guy. He is going to strike over at Ranvan as well. Ranvan, defensive roll, please. Yeah, you dodge that first one. Another defensive roll. And you dodge the second one. You can't get through your defenses. We move to Brandel.
Hey, Adam, from my vantage point, they can see, but this guy who hid, can he see that other guards are attacking other guards?
He can. He looks like he's shitting his pants right now.
I'm not going to bother. 5, 10, 15.
As you're making your way down this way, Brandel, obviously they can't see you, but you can certainly hear the prisoners are like shocked and, what's going on? What's going on? Oh my God! And like you can hear just absolute chaos coming from the cells.
Ooh, this one back here?
Yep.
I'm going to move there. And well, he might see me, so let me not do that. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Here, who's in there?
As you step up closer, you notice a young elven maid who is just lying on the cot with wide, surprised-looking eyes looking out towards you. Or doesn't see you, but looking out towards that direction.
Okay. Can I take the key out of this guy's pocket? It must be I'm searching him for a key to the cell.
You can certainly use an action, to search him and look for a key.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yep, okay, so using your action, you just quickly pat him down, and yes, you do find a ring of keys at his side.
Okay, I'm going to then end my turn, but next, unless like a bonus action try to open the cage, I will, because I don't see anyone seeing me.
No, and you're not sure exactly which of these keys will open the cell. You get the impression that there's a key per cell maybe, so you're going to have to test some of these different keys.
How many keys are there?
Probably altogether you're looking at about 15.
Oh my God.
So you think you can probably test 3 or 4 of them at a time, but it might take a couple of rounds depending to figure out which one it is, unless you get lucky.
Well, I've done my action and movement. Do you think I could? I'm going to try to telekinetically force the gate open. Might as well have a bonus action. Might as well try it.
Telekinetically thrust the gate open.
Yeah.
Post me the telekinetic thing. I can't imagine this would work, but I just want to read it real quick. Right, okay, so this is essentially Mage Hand with the push effect.
Yeah.
So I would say you certainly can't break down a locked gate with this.
Okay.
All right, moving back to the top, Ranvan.
Okay, Bless has been helpful, but it's not getting us out of this situation. So I'm going to try and cast Spirit Guardians.
All right, as you attempt to cast Spirit Guardians, you hear a loud whistle suddenly come from the big guy. So as soon as you start casting, let me think how this works. Because you would drop concentration to start the next spell, so you won't have the effects of bless here. But if you fail it, you won't lose the slot.
Okay, I've taken off my bless modifier. Here we go.
Does your Warcaster also come into factor?
It does not on this. And yes, the whistle does indeed interrupt you, and your spell does not go off. So unfortunately, the bless drops. You don't lose the slot, but Spirit Guardians does not come into effect.
Okay.
And feel free to set yourself to public roles there, Ranvon.
Oh, yes, sorry. I was clicking spells, or afraid to click more spells. All right, so with the D&D casting rules, can I now cast a bonus action spell?
It says if it fails, the spell is not cast, so you have not cast a spell, so yes, I would say you certainly can.
Okay, and I haven't seen Lexi use a reaction, have I?
I don't believe so.
Not this round.
All right, I'm going to cast a healing word on Lexi at level 2. I know Leo probably needs it more, but he can't attack so good right now, and we need attacks. And then you can use your reaction to attack the guy. Let me just point to him. That guy.
All right. And is it 6 healing?
It is 7 healing, so you get the 6 plus the higher level cast. Ignore the radiant on the top.
Copy that. And I will attack the one Ranvon designated.
As you slash out at this guy and hit him solidly, you notice he suddenly explodes, Lexi.
Oh, no.
And as he does, I'm going to need a dexterity saving throw from Lexi and Silver.
Sorry, not me. I'm right next to him.
Well, I believe she struck at this one, correct?
Oh, I pointed to the one between this one right here.
That one.
Okay, that was your intended target?
Yes, the one next to Ranvon.
All right.
South.
Then let me take that back and say that that one is injured by your strike.
Okay.
You have no idea what's going to happen when you kill one, by the way, but you know.
It will forever be a mystery. I can't even see this guy, actually. I can see the corner of his health bar now, but that's my turn.
Yep, no worries. That was just my bad. I misread which one you guys were going for. But Lexi, your turn.
What's their damage?
Okay.
No damage there, Leopold. That did not actually take effect. No explosion yet.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Well. I'll try and kill that one.
Sure, yeah, go ahead and make your attack. You critically hit this one and kill it, and you're never going to believe what happens, but it friggin' explodes. Alright, now I will need Lexi and Silver to give me dexterity saving throws. Alright, Lexi, you succeed on this save, as does Silver, so you'll both take half damage, so that will be 7 points of fire damage to each of you.
Does the machine take it too?
You notice the fire hits the machine, but does not affect it.
Alright. And I know I'll incur an opportunity attack from that one, but I'm going to move here.
You certainly will. Yeah, go ahead and give me a defensive roll. Yes, you managed to evade the opportunity attack.
Alright. I'll stay right there.
I believe you still have another attack left, right? I don't think you only took one, Lexi?
Oh, yeah. I thought I could only do... Okay. Yep.
Yeah, you can attack, move, and attack. Certainly, yeah, if you would like to attack the big guy.
Hell yeah.
All right, go ahead and roll it. You slash out and do not have bless anymore, and thus miss.
Oh, boo. Okay.
All right, we move over to a guard. This guy is huddled there trying to dodge. This one's going to come by, notice this guy dodging, and turn and attack him. The first one will hit even through the dodge. He will fail his save, and he is slain. This one moves over here and also strikes out. Hitting twice. And the archer will succeed on one of the saves, but not the other. Gertrude can definitely notice this archer getting badly wounded. All right, back up on the top with the big guy, Lexi. You notice suddenly as this big kettle body of this creature suddenly starts stirring and shaking as the heat boils up inside of it. And you notice it suddenly releases this boiling heat upon you. Lexi, I will need a Constitution saving throw. All right, you succeed on this, suffering half of the damage. So that will be 22 points of fire damage as this scalding blast of steam just rolls over you.
Owie.
We move down to Gertrude.
Well, she's concerned about her boyfriend, so she's going to hit twice the guy next, the archer next to him down there. Here we go.
First attack will miss. Second one will manage to connect. As she slashes into him with that halberd and wounds him.
Okay, she's gonna... You know what? I think if this guy moves out of range... No, so an opportunity attack with a halberd, with range weapon, she needs to move here, and then she can get him, right? I mean, he has to go past 15 to get an opportunity attack, right? Past 10.
I'm not sure what you're asking.
I'm saying
her
if it
reach
moves
is 10 feet, yes.
If she moves there,
Uh-huh.
and this guy moves to here, it's out of 10, so she'll get an opportunity attack.
Correct. Yeah, but that one has been attacking Gertrude so far.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. She's gonna stand her ground there, and she has no bonus actions that I know of.
Nope.
Nope. Okay, that's easy peasy. End my turn.
All right, we move to this one, who is still indeed attacking Philorane. Will stab forth twice through that barrier that he has erected. Will connect with him one time. He will fail that save, so he's going to suffer the damage there. He will then make a Constitution saving throw to see if the invisibility drops. This time it does, as he loses concentration, and Brandel, you are no longer invisible.
Sweet.
And he is also poisoned. Second attack, however, will miss as we move up to Leopold.
It was his left arm, by the way. So Leo cries out, drops the crossbow, same motion, pulls out the Moontouch sword that he begged off of Dell. Then, as an action, he's going to cast Aura of Vitality while also saying to Ranvan, I'm going to distract it, don't screw this up, and then prepare for the Whistle of Doom.
As you say this out loud, it will indeed attempt to whistle you.
Oh, I forgot to turn that off.
And once again, your
Amazing.
spell is interrupted.
Don't waste it, Ranbot.
I won't.
Then bonus action. Attack this stupid jerk right here.
How are you?
Silver.
Oh, right. Gotcha. Okay. Yep. That will indeed hit, destroy him, and he will explode. So I will need everybody. So that'll be Ranvan, Silver, Ulvin, the other two to the left, and that's it. We'll need to make a dexterity saving throw. All right, Ranvan, you will fail, suffering 4 points of fire damage. And then Silver can make hers.
I already did it. It was a 10.
Oh, my bad, I missed that. So she will also fail, suffering 4 points of fire damage. All right, both of the enemies are going to succeed on their saves, suffering half.
Also, Silver comes over here.
Okay. Ulvan will fail his save, suffering full. All right, we move back down to Philarain here. All right, Philarain's not liking what's going on here, so he is going to cast invisibility on himself, and then he's going to start moving. All right, this guy's still huddled. All right, we move up to Ulvin. All right, Ulvin will look over towards Leopold, and he will say, "Don't give up. You've got this. Stay in the fight." And as he gives you this sort of inspiration, you have this special effect now, Leopold, where for the next minute, you get to add a D4 to a roll that you make. It can either be an attack roll or a saving throw. So you can make that and add it to the roll as long as you can hear him and you're able to, just basically be able to hear him. All right,
Okay.
move to this guy's turn. He is still focused on you, Leopold, so I will need a defensive roll from you. Another crit on Leopold. Ouchies. Okay, so go ahead and roll a piercing crit, Leopold. Oh my god. Oh, this is some bad luck. Oh my goodness. Roll another major injury. Hopefully you get the same one. Oh, the other one now. Okay. So I'm going to guess that this one, let's put it to an odd. So he might strike the same one. So just roll a d20, but say high or low. And if you say high, then it's 11 or higher will mean you're fine. If you say low, it's 1 to 10 will mean you're fine, meaning he struck the same exact arm. So it can't be double crippled.
Let me lodge my complaint of saying this is bullshit, and I'll say low.
All right, so you're looking for a 1 to 10 on the D20. Go ahead and roll a D20. There you go. So he hits the same arm, so no additional effects on that injury, but then I'll need a Constitution save. That will fail.
I guess well, that D4 you can help. Yep, carry on.
Right, yeah, unfortunately not in this case. So this will be considered a crit. So add them together. Okay, so here comes the crit. All right, so that will be 10 points of piercing damage plus 22 points of poison damage for a total of 32. All right, so that was, I think, just the first attack. He will then follow it up with a second piercing attack right towards your chest, Leopold. Another defensive roll, please. This time you managed to evade the strike. All right, we move down to this one, and this one is going to disengage and rush back this way, seemingly making her way for the exit, perhaps. All right, this one will come down and attack at Gertrude. So, yeah, the defensive things won't work for the NPC, so here comes 2 attacks. All right, 2 pierces out towards Gertrude. Her AC is 18, so the first one will miss. Second one will connect. Go ahead and make a con save for Gertrude. All right, she'll succeed on this, suffering just 11 points of piercing damage then. No additional effects. This one will also attack Gertrude. But both of those attacks will miss. Back up top here, this one will attack Ranvan. Ranvan, defensive roll, please. Ooh, this one will connect Ranvan. All right, so that'll be 8 points of piercing damage and a Constitution save, please. All right, you succeed on that, suffering no additional effects, but then I will need a... Oh, actually, you are within 5 feet of another enemy, so he's going to go ahead and pop a sneak attack on that. For an additional 5 points of damage, and then another defensive roll as he tries to stab you a second time. Yeah, this time you bring up that shield blocking the strike. This one here is going to hop over this little half ledge here and also attack you, Ranvan. Now at a flank. First one you are able to deflect. Second,
I just assumed the second one was coming because you said the first one.
Yeah, absolutely. Second one with the flank is going to connect. So that'll be 6 points piercing and another con save.
Wait, with the second one with the 27, he's going to hit me?
Oh, actually, my bad. I saw the 19 the way it was slotted. I thought that was your first roll. I missed the 27. So no, that is absolutely a miss. Ignore that one.
Who is out this there, god among men?
That was a
That's
special
the real
one.
boss. He's the one.
All right, sorry. Move to Brandel, who is no longer... You would notice, like, suddenly you can see yourself, Brandel, as you're holding this set of keys.
That's 30. Am I going the right direction, Adam?
You feel like it. Okay. You can certainly hear the sound of a lot of terrible stuff coming to your north.
All right, that's my movement. I'm going to action dash. 15. That's 15 on my dash. It's up here, right, Adam?
You think so?
15, 20, 25, 30.
All right, as you get to here and look through this little opening, you see that there is a ledge. I would argue from where you're standing, you actually can't see what's just east of that ledge, so assume you can't even see what you can see based on elevation.
Okay, that is my movement, my action. I can't action. So yeah, that's it. And my turn.
All right, Ranvan's turn.
I wish I had more actions for this turn. I'd like to heal Leo, but it would be a wimpy one, and he'd probably go down anyway. So I'm not going to waste the opportunity. I'm going to cast Spirit Guardians upcast to level 4.
All right, yeah, and I believe our smart AoE thing should work for this, so give that a shot.
Yes, let me try that. Did that work?
Looks like it's on there, yeah. So once it starts taking effect, we'll have it individually trigger, guys. But for now, I think you're good. So yeah, go ahead and burn that slot. And yeah, so just post it so it burns the slot. We'll ignore the damage that shows up until it actually affects them, at which point you'll just be using the trigger option, which I think I have to do on this one because you can't actually target the NPC tokens.
Yeah, I decreased my slots. So I get to name people for it to ignore. So I'll pick...
So just again, real clarification here. You can only name people that you can see.
Okay, I can see a square that Lexi's on. There's like a tiny thing next to me, and if my sight wasn't...
I'm going to argue that you can see everybody in this room, is what I'm getting at.
Okay, cool. So yeah, her, them, this guy, and that guy.
Fair enough. Okay.
The friends, the good guys.
Yep. Yeah. And Ulven with that as well.
Yep.
Yep.
That is, and I can't see. I can't see Leopold. I can't. See, I actually can see a bit of Brandel.
You can't, and the reason why I'm saying that is because of the elevation. If you notice that little set of stairs that goes up, you're basically backed against a wall right now, so you would be looking right through stone to try to see Brandel, and that's why he can't see
I will
you.
peer through the stone then.
Oh, okay. My bad. I forgot you had that ability.
Thank you, Randbot.
He does have my goggles, so he can see pretty good, but I guess not through stone.
Okay, I'm gonna look over my sheet here and hope that there's something I've missed that I can do. Oh wait, I think I can do this. It's not gonna be this one.
Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna burn
I
the
have
channel divinity.
I have a thing for that to use a thing. So I will get 1 slot back of level 2, I think.
Yeah. I'll let you review that and figure that out. We move to Lexi's turn.
All right, she's just gonna keep hacking away at this big guy.
All right. Yes. Go ahead and make your attack. First attack.
Oh, inspiration!
Burns your inspiration. Go ahead and reroll. First attack connects as you slash into this automaton and injure it. Second attack also connects as you chop more into it.
I think that's all I can do.
Alright, this guy is dead, so we'll remove him. This guy is going to come up to here and attack Gertrude. But both of those attacks will miss.
Oh, sorry. I had to scroll down. I didn't realize I don't do defensive.
Yep, yeah, no worries. We're good there. Let's see, this one is going to move down to here and attack Gertrude. Both of those will connect, so we'll need 2 Constitution saving throws from Gertrude. Alright, she will fail that second one, so altogether she's going to suffer 28 points of damage and is now poisoned. Alright, back to the big guy. Alright, Lexi, you're going to notice as suddenly that really long arm he had shrinks down to be the same size as his first arm, and then he is going to slash out at you with both arms. So I'll need first 1 defensive roll.
Disadvantage. Oh my god.
Oops.
Unfortunately, we'll still connect. Let me see. Is he in? I'm going to move him just a moment. Yeah, I guess he's well, let's see. He's got to be at least 50% in this. Yeah, I think that probably touches him. All right, so I think if I click...
It's 15 feet from me, so...
Yes. So unfortunately, I don't think I can do the... I think I would have to probably create it. So let me try something real quick.
Okay, I'm gonna do the smart AoE remove then.
Yep, okay, yep. And you cast it at level 4, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so now that that's on there... Yeah, I seem to remember always having a trouble with this one in particular, and I wasn't sure why. So unfortunately for now, we're just going to have to handle this one manually. So yeah, so all right, this will affect him. He'll have to make a saving throw against Wisdom, if I recall.
Please hold, I'm finding it for you. Wisdom, DC 17.
All right, he will succeed on this, so he'll suffer half the damage. And I don't know, did you ever post it once? I don't think you did. So go ahead and just post it like regular, like old school, and I'll take the half off.
That doesn't roll the damage, does it?
Nope, you got to do it the other way. So I think you just clicked on the speech bubble there. You got to actually click on the text.
Is that not going to take my spell slot?
It will. Yeah, you just have to give yourself 1 back. All right, so that's 8 points of radiant damage that struck him. So he is wounded from that at the start. He then swung out at Lexi and connected against Lexi, even at disadvantage. So Lexi, as this axe arm chops into you, you're going to suffer 13 points of slashing damage as you are raging. He will then attack you a second time. Another defensive roll, please. Yeah, this time you do manage to evade that strike. As we move down to Gertrude.
All right, Gucci's going to say to the lady that doesn't have an arm that looks like a robot and say, "Hurry! The prison's under attack! Alert the guards and Raven Guard! We need help!" And then she's going to attack the one next to her. With her
Okay.
halberd.
Swings out but does not connect against the creature.
She's going to use inspiration.
If you want to burn your inspiration, you can.
Hmm.
Also, remember, she's poisoned, so she's actually attacking at disadvantage right now.
No, I'm not going to use inspiration for her. Sorry. She's cute and all, but nope.
She's married, man.
This one will hit even at disadvantage. Strikes out, connects, and that's exactly how much damage you need to do to destroy this one, which suddenly explodes. And as it does so, only the other guard nearby is affected. Whoop, ignore that. She will fail this save, and this explosion burns her to the ground.
No! The dice are mad at us.
Top of the round, we move to Leopold.
He's gonna sigh. He's gonna cast Aura of Vitality again.
All right, he does have his reaction back, so he is once again going to whistle at you. You don't have oh, you are poisoned, right? Is that disadvantage on saves?
Not on saves, I believe.
Just doing a quick double check.
Are you giving yourself your slots back? Scrolling up, it looks like it was 2 or 3 slots remaining last time.
I just remembered to do it.
You succeeded with that non-disadvantaged roll, Leopold, so yes, that goes through.
Amazing. Bonus action. I'm gonna heal myself. Seven.
Okay, so that was action plus bonus action, right?
Yeah. I'm not moving. That's it.
All right, down below, you hear Gertrude would hear as Philorine says, right where I wanted him. And you see he then waves his hands, but she really doesn't see that as he's invisible. But he will conjure up a wall of force and lock all of these guys into a barrier. All right, so suddenly this invisible barrier appears. Philorine himself would then no longer be invisible, so he will reappear. And he will look over towards Gertrude and say, "All right, we've got time, but we probably should try to help them." All right, back up here with Ulven. He is going to he's going to actually hop up here onto the stairs and then strike out at the one between him. Or actually, Leopold, you don't even have a weapon in hand right now.
I do.
You do.
Yes,
you have the
I do.
Moon Touch, right? So he's going to jump to here and attack on flank. He will connect with both of those strikes. All right, with that great sword chopping down, he will wound this guy. All right, that will be Ulven's turn as we move to that guy. He's still focused on you, Leopold, even though he just got hammered by Ulven. So he is going to stab out at you. Defensive roll, please. You are crit again.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
What the fuck? Really?
This is some of the worst luck I've ever seen. I think I know where match vote's coming in on this idea.
Yeah, screw this.
Oh, there
Can
we
stop
go.
now?
There we go. That's not even a crit. See? Good roll. All right, so he will connect, but it's not a crit. All right, so that'll be 5 points of piercing damage, and then I will need a Constitution save. All right, you succeed on that, suffering no additional ill effects. He will then strike out a second time. And this time you manage to evade the strike. This one is still hiding out. This guy can't go anywhere as he is sealed off by a wall of force. Same with this guy. Moving to this guy, he is going to attack Ranvan on the flank. Ranvan, defensive roll, please.
Give him that Spirit Guardians first.
Yes, good call. All right, here comes a save.
Spirit Guardian's on the guy who attacked me too.
Yes, yep. All right, so he'll succeed. Other guy will succeed as well. So go ahead and roll. Just roll the damage independently. So what is it at level 4? 4d8, I think? Yeah. All right, so I'll take that one for the first guy and the next one for the other one.
And then you want a defensive roll.
Yes, please. Okay, so 21 for you. Yeah, so your name's so long, that's why yours bends around. I was like, oh, another crit. But no. Okay, so this will be a miss, and then he will stab out a second time. This one will connect. So that will be 5 points of pierce damage, and then I will need a con save.
That's going to have the sneak attack too, right?
It will, yes. Yep, good call. Let me add that.
I'm going to want that in one thing for my con save.
Yep, so another 8, so a total of 13.
I thought it did it automatically. I realize now I don't have the concentration token on me.
Yes, that's why. Yep, so we can add that.
I have advantage with Warcaster.
All right, so you will succeed on that. All right, clock is on you, so that should not be affecting. No additional effects from the stab. This one also attacking you, Ranvan, so defensive roll, please. This one will connect. All right, so that will be 5 plus. Seven, so 12 points of damage. Then so take that. So then go ahead and make another save to see if you, because it didn't factor in your. Okay, so you still have it. I'll add the clock back on. Then give me a regular Constitution save for the poison effect.
That's 1 in 400 right there.
I know, isn't it? Oof, okay, this one will fail, so you will suffer the poison effect. So that's going to be 12 points of poison damage, and now you are considered to be poisoned. All right, so we will... That's his turn, and then we move to Brandal's turn.
All right. Do I feel the presence of necrotic damage?
No. You do see some radiant spirits floating around, though.
Now, I'm going to have to move here, and I'm willing to take it. Do I sense damage?
Don't end your turn
Nope.
there.
Oh. All right. Now, do I see enough of this creature for a 10 by 10 foot diameter teacup on top of him? I'll post it if you want to read it. Wall of Force.
Yeah, I would say probably.
Probably. Okay. What if? So that's fine. Then what about there?
Well, I believe Wall of Force means that you place it, but depending... Go ahead and post it again. I know it works on the other guys, but this guy might have something depending on how he could get away.
Okay.
No, okay, so yeah, I thought this one had something about the size. If they were too big, they can make a save to get on the other side, but no, I don't see that. So yeah, you think you could do so?
Boom.
Okay, now let me just double check real quick. So he does not have his reaction, so he will not try to whistle Brandel.
Now can I cast a spell?
So as you cast this spell, you will notice, yeah, he is surrounded by a wall of force.
He's trapped in force. We need to get help. Finish the rest. I'm not going to end my turn here. I'm holding my breath for no reason. 5, 10. That's the AC. I was there. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 to there, 30 to there. I'm holding concentration on that guy. And my turn.
Can I still hit him?
No, he's in a wall of force. You can try. It's a waste of your turn.
Ranvon's turn.
Okay, I'm going to cast Aid
All right.
at level 5. I'm going to target myself, Lexi, and Leopold, and that's going to increase each of our hit points by, I think, 25?
So let's see, it's 5 for level 2, so it would be 10 for 3, 15 for 4, 20 for 5.
20.
So current and max HP increases by 20. You may want to jot down your existing HP max so you don't get confused later once this ends. Okay, that is your action, Ranvon. Anything else?
My bonus action, I will end my turn.
Okay, so we move to Lexi's turn.
Sorry, I was just reading Ranvon's spell, so my hit points increase by 20, and then my regular hit points increase by 20.
So your
My
current
hit
and maximum would increase by 20. Yep.
Thank you. Thanks, Ranvon.
I was waiting for Ranvon to say, and silver. Like, shit.
I think I can only target 2, right? I didn't mess that up.
I meant instead of Leo.
So are we running, or do I hit this guy?
Clear everyone else out.
Get everybody out? Yes?
Kill these guys and we'll figure it out.
Okay. I'll go right here. I'll take a smack at that one.
The one to your west. Yeah, you step up, slash out, and do indeed connect, wounding him.
Hold up for a sec. Does Adam sound super robotic to anyone else?
Yes, but I thought it was just my headphones.
Uh-oh, does that mean my connection's bad? Is it any better?
It
Now you
seems
sound
like it's
good.
good now. There was like a moment where it was
Maybe just a bit,
Super late.
yeah, dip in connectivity or something. So yeah, that first one hit, second one will not connect.
Alright, wait.
All right, this guy is trapped in a wall of force, as is this one.
Spirit Guardians.
So I'm not sure that they can pass through a wall of force.
Okay, let me go post it again.
Because it says nothing can physically pass through the wall.
I trapped his guardians inside the wall of force.
I don't think so. For the current moment, I'm going to say no, because otherwise wall of force plus something that can go through it but they can't get out seems to be a bit of a broken combo. So I'm going to say no, the Spirit Guardians cannot get through the wall of force, so they just kind of hammer on the sides of it. You're going to notice this big guy starts hammering at the ground as he strikes into it and attempts to damage it. And he starts carving up the ground. As we move to Gertrude's turn.
As I scroll down. So who's forced here, Adam?
All 4 of them.
Can I move towards?
You can't
the
move
commotion?
through any of the guys. You would have to go around them because a wall of force surrounds all of them.
Oh, I can move there. So 5, 10, 15.
You're going to have to go up the stairs or jump up here. This would be too much of a jump.
Okay, so can I go 5, 10, 15, 20, maybe?
Yeah, you could do that. You could do like what I'm got here marked on the map.
Oh, yeah,
30
okay,
feet.
thank you very much. There's 30, and then action dash 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That's it.
All right, we've got a little bit of session time left. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get through a full round, though, guys. So I think this is probably a good time to pause it. So, yeah, let's go ahead and hang the session up here, guys. We will pick up next week and continue. Obviously, long, lengthy battle, multi-part, so taking up a bit of time here. But, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle. A lot of different chaotic elements all happening at once. And we will see what happens next week when we continue. Hope everybody enjoyed the session, and anybody watching along enjoyed as well. So we'll see you guys all next week.
Good job, guys.
Good game.
Thanks, guys. Good session.
I'm not going to sleep tonight for another 30 minutes.
At least.